funny is I literally had a character named KG, and like so that like weirded me out for a second. I was like, wait, am I in the wrong Roll20 game?
Oh, okay. I don't want to put on Kevin the Giantess. That's a mouthful.
Well, it's just funny because like because originally I hadn't come up with the backstory for him, and so I just was like, okay, what's this dwarf's name? I was like, oh, his name's KG, and then like just talking with my dungeon master, we decided that KG stood for his initials, which were Kerrigan Garrett, and Garrett is the name of a noble dwarven family, and so like it just kind of the whole thing came together. But everyone called him Cage because it was KG, and because I stole it from Tenacious D.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
I was just panicked when someone asked, "Hey, what's your character's name?" And then I remembered Up, and then I found out that a halfling is half the size of a human, so I thought it was pretty. And then I had to come up for a backstory of why this bland name is in a fantasy game, and I'm particularly proud with it. I'm proud of it, and of the name of the stupid name. I love it.
I like the name Kevin. It reminds me of the bird from Up.
Yeah, that's where I got it from, and also from what's that? Monsters vs. Aliens, when the blob is like, Kevin, what a scary name, or something like that.
Yeah. We think on the same brainwaves.
Thank you. I just need to check on something. Hold on.
I think it's safe to assume that Ted's gonna be a while.
Yeah, he says he hasn't even been seen yet, so definitely will be a while.
And considering he split his hand open, I'm guessing he's probably not going to make it.
Yeah, especially at RER, you know, it's like, oh, you're bleeding. Well, okay, well, that's not really severe, so we'll see you in a couple hours. Oh, okay, cool, thanks, guys.
Oh, you're still bleeding? There's still blood on the inside? Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, basically. Every time I've ever had to go to the ER, we've been there for like 4 hours minimum. It's like, this is ridiculous. Good thing we didn't give Vale the fan that we got from Lady Annabelle.
That's right. We found a druid staff. That would have been great.
I still stick bear paws on there and make it a bear.
If only we knew a druid of some sort.
Yeah.
If only. I bet they'd be a really good cook.
Or a real good hack. All of her recipes were stolen!
She was a pirate, so that was what she was. Those recipes.
Since I think we may be short Ted this week, Amanda, would you like to kind of give a recap of what happened previously?
Oh, it's been a while. Okay, let's see. So last week we started off in a carriage, much like we're starting off this week. And we're in this carriage and we pull up and we're like, wow, that's weird. I don't remember there being a forest in the middle of MistHaven. That's interesting. Maybe we should investigate. And, some members of the party like, maybe we don't have to investigate. Maybe we could just not do this. So we're like, okay, we're going to do it. So we're going through the forest and we managed to get to the Longacre building. And, we're like, there's something different about this Longacre building. Oh, that's right. There's massive polar bears outside of it. So that's new. So we had to take down all these polar bears. And, getting their hands. And there was more bear puns than we probably need to go into detail about.
It was unbearable.
It was unbearable. Bear with me, guys. And so...
No, Charles, no.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so we go inside and we see Lady Annabelle kind of. Yeah. We see Lady Annabelle talking with Cassandra Creed. Puns are over, kids. They're over. And so we're like, you know what? She's here. We're just going to kill her. We're not going to stop and ask questions. We're just going to kill her. So we're just immediately like, bang, 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 bang. And we managed to kill her because, apparently people who are spellcasters aren't really so useful in the silence bubble. So that really worked out because otherwise we all definitely would have died. Probably 10 times over. But that really worked out. So we killed her and she was stuck in these vines of monstrous poison, venom, trap thing. And Rafal and Agramar managed to get her body out. Well, Trini is sitting over there in her cell like, it's cool, guys, I'll just sit over here, no big deal. And so then the Requisitors come in, and they're like, what's going on? And we're like, oh, no big deal, we just killed the biggest threat ever, but, we're badass, so it's cool. And Kevin's like, I don't like you, and he just, walks by her like, you're nothing to me, I'm dust. And she's like, you say that now, but we'll see. And then, so we kill Lady Annabelle, and then the court proceedings start to happen all over again, and then it turns out that they will, in fact, kill Trini. And we're like, well, that really sucks because, we really were hoping that wasn't the case, no matter what. And, we did get to talk with the Queen. We're like, hey, we got stuff to tell you, but not here. Or Cassandra. We talked to Cassandra, telling her we had stuff to talk to her about, and the Queen was there too. So then Trini was sentenced to death for the next day, and we kind of gather ourselves and we leave the building, and we are like, wow, that really sucks, she's gonna die, and we really worked hard to save her, and it turns out that we're really not good at saving her, so she's gonna die. We'll come back in the morning and talk to her. But I think Agramar had a plan. He was allowed to go and talk to her for a minute in private, but not really private, but I think it was kind of private. Like, here, you talk to her now. So, half-ish private. There was something I'm missing here.
We killed her.
I know, but then when we were leaving, we had a plan, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do both things.
So the party was heading back out.
Yeah, we were heading back to the Strider camp because I'm like, okay, well, Trini is over with, so let's go on to my deal now. I know we're in the carriage, and Kevin's like, oh, guys.
We were walking because of the overgrowth that sprouted in the city.
Yes.
Okay. Carriages are no good in this district anymore. As you guys were walking,
Kevin's like, hey guys, I have this really weird, mysterious note in my pocket that I probably didn't put in there myself, but you guys don't know me well enough to know if I did or didn't, but I'm telling you that I didn't. And it says, we can still save your friend, meet me at the Three Wings Tavern. And, oh, 1 second, I'm sorry.
I got some.
I don't even remember this note coming up.
Basically, where we had left off, as Bale suddenly gets incredibly self-conscious about the whereabouts and safety of Yannick, he separates from the party just in case this is some sort of elaborate setup to draw you guys away from the Phoenix Feather Inn. To get him alone, he's going to go look out for Yannick.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, there was yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I think I did it all.
And when he gets back to the inn, Yannick has a busted up finger because he slammed it in a door.
Yannick's been playing with the ceiling fans in Phoenix Feather Inn.
Oh, man.
So, with the party just about to cross over the bridge and effectively exit the city when this note was found tucked into the leather armor that Kevin wears.
Oh, bloody armor. Okay.
Yeah, dripping in blood.
It is fairly late in the day, as the day's activities have been long. As I think it was on this morning that the party made their way down to the Seraph Manor and evacuated the Strider residence of some long forgotten tomb, the Shield Bearer, before making their way to Longacre in the earlier afternoon, and then spending some time in combat, and then a couple more hours as the trial finished, and then people started just kind of mulling about. So it is later in the afternoon at this point in time.
Did we get a long rest after our encounter with Annabelle?
You have not.
No, we were going to the Strider.
You did get a short.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure sitting in court if that was like, kind of resting or not. I wasn't.
Yeah, you guys were able to get a short rest from that.
Okay. So, as the new leader of the party, I feel it is in my duty to say we should probably follow up this note and see if we can help your friend, because if I have to clean up after Rafal's drinking again, I don't know if I could stick around much longer. That was kind of that was a lot, Rafal. I don't mean to point you on the spot right now, but hopefully we don't let that happen again. So let us go look at this note and see what we can find, and perhaps we can save Perennial's life after all.
I think this is an excellent idea.
I'm really living up to these leader shoes, no?
Do you even
You're doing
wear
great.
shoes?
That is a good question.
I do not wear shoes, because if I need to get my claws out, the climb building shoes really get in the way. Which is why it's so surprising I'm filling them so nicely, yeah?
She does
As
have
we're
the
turning
gym.
around.
To the Three Rings Tavern, then.
Yes. That's really
So with Agrimar taking the lead, the party turned their path back round, making a U-turn in the street, as they head their way back towards the tavern that some of them have ventured to. And it's about maybe half an hour before you guys are in the front side of this building. And the overgrowth is noticeably slowing your travel pace, but not so much that it's completely hindering you from traveling from alleyway to alleyway, from street to street. It's very much overgrown and it's noticeable and it's going to be a pain in the butt, but it's manageable. And as you guys make your way to the Three Rings Tavern, it's still relatively low key considering all of the events that have transpired today. But entering the tavern, you can see them serving just as much coffee and tea to their patrons as they are handing out meads and wine. And in addition to its extensive variety of beverages, alcoholic and not, the Three Rings also gathers a regular breakfast clientele, as they are also known for their sweetbreads and cream-filled pastries, which look to be on display behind one of their countertops.
Nari's ears perk up when she sees those. Oh, we have to try those. Those look really good. We cannot pass this up. Excuse me, barkeep, innkeep, Mr. Man.
As the bartender turns towards the sound of Nari's voice, yes, what can I get for you?
I would love to try one of those pastries. They look delicious. It has been a very long day and I am just absolutely starving.
Well, I think we can do something about your poor, yearning stomach. Just the one? Would your friend
Nari's gonna look to everyone else. Are you guys eating?
It's 1 for 4 copper, or 4 for 12.
Oh, that's sweet.
We'll do the 4 for 12. I'm sure they'll probably try and steal some of mine if I don't buy them one.
Absolutely, and have you any flavor preferences? We have lemon and blueberry made up today.
Blueberry for me.
Blueberry, man.
All right.
Blueberry.
For me.
Okay, yeah. 2 blueberry, 2 lemon. Perfect. Yeah.
Magnificent, and here you are. Enjoy yourself. Might I interest you in something to help wash it down?
Coffee. Yeah, that sounds good. You guys like coffee? We could probably wake ourselves up after the day we've had.
Yes, coffee sounds nice. Large coffee for me, please.
1 for everyone, then.
Perfect.
Coffee is going to be 5 copper each, and it's going to take a minute to heat up.
I'm gonna put 35 copper on the table, so there's a little bit of a tip. Not much, but I'm cheap, so forget it.
And as you're counting out the coin, you can see he's already in the process of playing with a number of wheels and knobs about some sort of very intricate looking machine of some sort. This contraption steams out various fluids and it sounds relatively angry, judging by all the clanking and whistling that it is making. But it's not too terribly long before this machine winds up frothing several hot beverages that he then pours into the 5 glasses and then pushes these 5 copies towards the party.
I owe him more money. I miscounted. I only counted 4 copies. But I will give him more money. I'll make sure I pay for it all.
Who's the
All right.
person?
Oh, that's right. Bale is not you guys.
Okay, we're good. Never mind. I counted right.
One's over. You're missing compatriot.
That's my double. I'll take it.
Yeah, he'll drink it.
Yeah, it said large. We only have the 1 size cup.
Okay, well, should we, now that I have my pastry and my coffee, I'm going to look around the tavern, see if I might recognize any faces.
Nard, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
14.
So looking about the tavern, you can see that, a number of individuals look to fill out some of the tables. There's a card game going on in one corner of the tavern. There looks to be a game of darts happening on the opposite side, and just kind of the mumbling and murmurings of people ending their day and looking to kind of starting to calm things down a bit.
How big are the tables?
You recognize. Kevin, they are about the height of you to the top of the table. So pulling up a chair, you could make use of them, but at the very least, you can see under them.
Can I climb up on top of the table? And I'm going to yell, "Hey! I'm Kevin the Giantess, Slayer of the Bears, defeater of a golem. Tremble before me and my compatriots."
Huzzah!
You can see a couple of the nearby tables have stopped their conversations and are just kind of staring towards this curious figure who's climbed up to the top of the table and is still about average height for everyone. Some people are kind of straining their necks to see who this is that's shouting out. And the bartender kind of grabs the attention of everyone. "Oh, that's okay. There's no need for any such pining or yearning in here. We're all friends. But welcome, Kevin, and we're glad to have you."
He's so nice.
I would like to look around for people. Well, I guess everyone's looking at us. Never mind.
Agrimar, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
19.
Agrimar, as everyone's gazes seem to start going back to whatever it was they were doing beforehand, there's a couple of gazes that linger a little bit longer. There's one girl towards the back, kind of near the fiery hearth, with shorter blonde hair, whose gaze lingers a bit too long. And she notices your eyes catch her own before her gaze shifts elsewhere. She looks to be seated alone towards the back of the tavern, nursing the one beverage in front of her. And she's garbed in what looked to be relatively expensive accoutrement.
Do I recognize her from anything?
You do not.
Okay. I'll kind of just, in quiet, look down at the table and make note of that to the rest of the party. There's someone over there that's prying their eyes a little bit more than normal.
When he points her out, can I see the table that she's at? Is it more crowded or does it look relatively empty?
She's the only one at her table.
Can I see?
You can't see her if you're still standing on the table.
Do you need a lift?
I'm not that.
Come this way, Barty. Let's go sit over here. I see some seats that look available. And I go right up to the blonde girl and hello. Are these seats taken over here? You know, quite crowded today, so I was hoping you would mind maybe some company. We really don't fight. I know Kevin, because she can be a little bit intimidating, but I promise I'll keep her under control.
You got my note then.
Oh, we are in the right place, and I plop down.
And she stands up.
Oh,
we're playing this game.
So Nari, as you sit down, this woman stands up and starts shuffling along the tables in the tavern, heading towards what looks to be one of the back doors.
I hurry and stuff the pastry in my mouth, and I start chugging the drink real quick, and I start going after her.
Ooh.
And she produces a key from one of her pockets and places it into the lock of this door, and is quick to unlock what looks to be a back private room at the Three Rings Tavern, and she opens it and then kind of holds the door open and gestures inside.
Oh, well, I didn't have to eat that fast after all. Okay, well, yeah, okay, I'll come. I'll go inside.
We'll go with her.
Go ahead, Rafal. I'll make sure no one bothers us.
So Agrimar's staying outside?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay outside.
All right.
Agrimar, I think you should probably be inside because you know more about Fernia than any of us. So, come. I can watch if you want.
No, alright. How big is the room?
The room looks to be about 10 feet by 15.
Oh god, it's gonna get crowded real quick, guys. I kind of shoulder my way through the small doorway and just stand just inside of it because I don't want to impose on the rest of the room.
And as the three of you enter this room, she kind of lingers for a moment with her gaze looking out towards Nari before she realizes Nari's not coming, so she closes the door and then locks it from the inside.
And I'll just sit there and kind of keep watch, making sure, no one tries to follow, like Agrimar was planning on, so.
And once inside, she turns back to everybody and effectively begins. I thank you for meeting me on such short notice, but I sincerely believe that if there's anyone in this city to do something in the name of what's right, I think I am speaking to the proper people. What is being done to Trinia is horrendous, to say the least. But I think through perhaps faith, if anything else, that we may have an opportunity to see her freed from her situation. Bale throws a net somewhere.
What?
I don't know. I don't know.
If he's on his phone.
I don't know.
A net comes flying in through the window.
I'm delirious from the pain, but I'm here!
Nari, you see a couple of people in one corner of the room that were in the process of unknotting some of their fishing nets, and in the process of doing so have managed to just effectively tie up one member of their table, just completely capturing him in this roped bindings.
Oh, I really like this place.
Okay.
As she's continuing effectively, it's difficult to find people that are capable of earning one's trust, but I believe your actions speak louder than any words you may have to speak. Now, truth be told, word is spreading that the Requisitors themselves are being placed in charge of securing the execution tomorrow to see to it that Trinia's, well, meets her end. And so in the process of freeing her, I think that not only might we be able to right the course of justice, but in doing so, we might deal a seriously embarrassing blow to the Requisitors as well, which I think is its own reward. But this being said, I'm offering this information out of warning, if anything else. I'm contacting you not because I'm looking for any sort of martyrs or heroes to make a final stand or anything like that. I think that if this is going to be done, then proper precautions must be taken and no unnecessary risks. Well, more unnecessary or unthought of than what is already being undergone. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I suppose this is. You'll have to apologize. This is my first time organizing something like this. Have you any questions?
Who are you?
I am a friend. I think to say more at this point in time might not be necessary.
Okay. So you're just providing us with information that we already know.
Yes. Yes, you could think of it like that.
I hate to say this, but we need a bit more information. We don't know who to trust at this point.
That's fair, I suppose. And she looks again towards the door that has remained closed and locked since entering. And you can see a look of hesitation on her. And Agrimar and Kevin the Giantess, if the two of you would like to roll me a persuasion check.
Certainly.
Well, again, prepare to be disappointed.
High in charisma isn't speaking right now.
He's listening.
15. Listen harder, Rafal.
Her gaze lingers upon the locked door as a shaky hand kind of comes up towards her chest, and she mumbles a couple of words, some arcane dialect or another, as her entire form just kind of shimmers slightly and her features shift and change. As her person is being altered, her blonde hair begins growing longer into a kind of orangish reddish brown, as her person itself becomes incredibly more charismatic, you could say, as the presence of Queen Leosa Ashiolehi now sits within this room, adjoining the three of you. I think it's only fair, I suppose, that we lay all cards on the table. But as I said, what is being done to Trinia is a travesty, and I believe we have an opportunity to do something about it, as well as providing a significant blow against the Requisitors in the eyes of their standing with the city.
Molly.
I did not see that coming.
I did not. How did you get here so quickly? And when did you become so stealthy?
Does Sabrina know you're here?
I snuck away from her for the moment.
She is going to be
Good
so
job,
mad.
Queenie.
Pissed.
She doesn't have to know about all of this.
My lips are sealed.
All right. What's your plan?
I know the square that Trinia is going to be brought to tomorrow morning for her execution. I can provide you with a distraction of sorts if you have a need for it, but ultimately I'm going to be more or less confined to the noble's tents and unable to get close to her myself. But as I said, I can make a distraction, and if somebody were to seize such an opportunity, then perhaps such an aspiring individual may be able to free Trinia from her restraints, and the few gods should have no problem falling by the wayside. If a Requisitor or two were to be slain, I can assure you they would not be missed by anyone in our city. And should you flee and no harm come to anyone, well, I think all the more embarrassing for De Vere and all the better for Trinia.
Well, considering that they're late to everything, this should not be too hard.
Unfortunately, they're going to be standing right there with her, so I don't think they're going to be late.
Not to mention, won't this more or less make us criminals?
Only if you're spotted as you are. I noticed some of you are gifted in the arcane arts, and others are crafted in their other means. I've know some disguising kits sold throughout the city, and some arcanists are gifted with means of, and she kind of gestures towards herself and the spell that she prepared earlier, of altering one's features for periods of time. Disguises and the like could be used, or even complete concealment via darkness, fog, or other such ideas. But yes, full warning being made. If you are spotted, then you may be declared enemies of the city.
Can Nari hear any part of this conversation being on the outside the door?
Nari, roll me a perception check at disadvantage.
A 12.
You can't hear anything on the
I
other
did
side of
so.
that
I
door.
think it was worth a shot.
Oh, man.
There's a vigilante rumored to be wandering about this city, interfering with all means of government business and the like. I see no reason why he couldn't take another hit for something like this.
That's an idea.
Right?
All right. Well, the information is appreciated, and I think you're right. We need to do something to free her, and during the transportation is going to be the best time to do it.
Do you know when she's going to be transported?
I only know that the Requisitors will be reporting to the square, to the Golden Square, at approximately 9 a.m. tomorrow. And her execution is to be scheduled shortly thereafter. I don't know where they're holding her, and so I don't know from where they will be traveling.
But we can wait at the Golden Square for their arrival.
Certainly.
Is there anyone guarding it right now?
The city square.
Well, there's my answer.
We should
Where's
be,
the Golden
we
Square on the
should
map?
be able to get in there. Besides,
The Golden March.
executions, people come out
Okay.
in droves for executions. All right. Well, we have some planning to do, and we also need to plan how to get her out of the city.
I still have some of my old contacts back in the Empire of Aveston, and if she has no other options, I can see to it that she has a safe life as that of a serving girl overseas.
I'm going to decline that, seeing as Avestan is kind of, I believe, how she got into this situation.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid I don't know too many other, well, folk here. My husband tended to most of the events and planning, speeches and the like.
Don't worry, we have some contacts outside the city. We'll find her a safe place.
Are there any other questions I can answer? I don't want this to be any briefer than it has to be, but I don't want to stay too long in case Sabrina notices my absence.
No, I think that's everything.
Yes.
Then I will see you on the at the gold market tomorrow morning.
Very well, Your Majesty.
And thank you again for everything you've done and tried to do so far. I want you to know that sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, it is appreciated that I can have you to turn to for something like this, that I can trust wholeheartedly. I hope you feel the same. As Nari, you hear the door behind you clicking as it unlocks once again. And before it swings open, this woman just kind of lightly taps herself as she casts another spell, and that blonde person's visage appears once again. As the door swings open, Nari, you can see this blonde-haired woman just kind of give you a kind smile and start to exit the room.
Pleasure doing business with you. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye. And I like
You
go
too,
into the room.
Please help yourself to another sweet roll.
Oh yes, you are reading my mind. Okay.
My treat.
Oh, that is even better. Oh, okay. I like her. Whatever she says, we should definitely do.
We shouldn't talk about it here. Let us go back to the Phoenix Feather Inn.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. What time is it? I know we've asked that already.
It's getting late.
Well, depending on what we're doing tomorrow, would it be better to get the room really close? Well, I guess we'll be as close to Gold Market as we can. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. We have things to do. I get my pastry on the way out. I get the blueberry one this time, though. I want to try it.
As Nari scoops out her treat on the way out. And though the hour is late, the party has little difficulty navigating their way back to their headquarters.
So, anyone going to tell me, the party leader, what's going on?
So the mysterious stranger was the queen herself. Very odd, but she did tell us that Trinia is going to be executed in the gold market tomorrow at 9 a.m. and that the Requisitors are going to do it. But Trinia should be being brought to the gold market at some point before that, and we might be able to ambush whoever's bringing her and free her and get her out of the city. And we should do it in disguise.
Well, I do love a good disguise, and she's going to use her loom to just change her appearance real quick. It is one of my favorite things to do.
So
You
Nari,
guys know that from earlier when we did, the necklace thing, so, no new to you.
Nari, what appearance are you changing it?
I mean, we're at the Phoenix Feather Inn, but just like, I don't know, random old person, like an old lady looking all frail. I like being old lady.
Well, hello.
Steph. Oh man.
It could be a lot of fun.
Okay,
I think.
so
Well, here's what I think. I think that we should do this. We should free Trinia, get her out of the city, and we should maybe take her to the Striders. See if maybe they're got a camp or something further away where we could. She could live out for a little bit until we find a more suitable place. Or who knows? Maybe she likes it there. And then from there, we could go find this library in the desert.
Do we really want to involve the Striders and good people into, the kidnapping of a known criminal who's supposed to be dead for killing the king? Do we really want to start that war from MistHaven to Striders? I think they've already had some turmoil in the past. Maybe not the best idea.
Well, is there any way to throw off suspicion to the Striders from the Striders if we do this?
Well, we'll just do it once we're really far out of the city.
We could, well, I mean, we're probably going to obviously disguise Trinia because they'll be looking for her. So, maybe we could just give her a new name and everything. Didn't you say you knew someone who could do papers or something like that? Falsify papers if we needed to? We could give her an entire new identity very easily, I'm sure. Or, maybe not, either way.
Sorry, my brain is not working too well right now.
Yeah, once we get her out of the city, we could do a lot of things.
We take her to the desert with us. I mean, it's just getting her out of the city.
Okay, so then we plan the escape. The Golden Market, okay, I've been there, like, there's only so many roads you can take to get into it. Should we try and have a person, like, stationed at each one, or should we try and ambush all at once, or, like, what do you think? Should we have a carriage ready? Do we need to buy a carriage so we can make a move real quick, or do we just rent a carriage as soon as we get away from all the rambunctious?
Okay, so, few things, one thing at a time. Kevin, you're really good with locks and things like that, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, and Bale's not half bad either. So Kevin and Bale are going to be responsible for actually freeing Trinia, like literally from her shackles and things like that.
Oh, we could put her in the black hole like we were going to do with Bale to smuggle her out. I know we only said 10 minutes, but at least we could get her away from the commotion.
No, that was
One of us could even be in the black hole waiting for her, and we could disguise her so when we get her out of the black hole, she looks like a completely different person. Like, we could jump in there with her. So she's not scared, like, why are you guys throwing me in the black pit? But one of us could be in there disguising her. We really need a disguise role, like a pro.
We'll workshop it. But, yes, I think this is a good idea. So, the next part is we're going to have Agrabah and myself and Nari that are going to have to deal with whatever soldiers are escorting her.
Is it possible throughout this entire thing we try to make it look as if this were kidnapping and murder at the end? Disguise maybe a barrel or another body as her, so that way no one's looking for her. Sorry.
I like that idea too. So we need to kill someone and make them look like Trinia. And then she looks to her fault. Oh, no. I mean, we can't just kill someone, you know.
No, I
Perhaps
don't
we-
support that plan. I think just taking her will be fine, because really, once she's outside the city, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, but she'll be a wanted woman, won't the... Oh,
Only
God.
here. She just can't return here.
You probably wouldn't want to anyway, you know, like...
I know.
Maybe she doesn't have family, I don't know. Maybe she does and she'll want to return, but she'd be stupid too, you know. At least we did everything we could.
Still, say we found a body.
Who knows? Maybe one day when I am king, she could come back.
And then kill you too! I mean, she didn't do it, obviously, but you know,
I don't appreciate your sense of humor.
I think that coffee's kicking in.
I thought that was hilarious. Might I just say, team leader. Great.
There's nothing funny about regicide.
Oh yeah, no, nothing funny at all. She winks at Kevin.
Can we get back to the matter at hand?
Yeah. How do we steal her away from Requisitors who are big bad guys that are nearly impossible for us to kill? And then, you know, like, I've heard that once, you know, they get in the bed, like 60,000 of them show up, so that could be interesting, yeah?
We could disguise ourselves as members of, like, either Brodrin's gang or maybe the Thieves Guild or something like that.
Well, let's not blame the guild here. Come on.
What if we disguise ourselves as Requisitors?
Oh, that's not bad.
Because then we could just be like, oh, you're coming with us now.
And then when the Requisitors show up, they'll be like, who took her? They'll be like, you guys did!
Theoretically speaking, let's say someone was at a height disadvantage, you know, like poor Bale.
Well,
Would we be able to increase?
the two of you should be hidden so that you
Oh,
can
right, sorry.
jump out and, free her.
Yeah,
But Agrinar, myself, and Nari could, I mean, if you have the magic to do it.
I make myself look like a Requisitor the best I know how from visions, like, from seeing them from time to time. Because I can cast it.
Does that effectively? Can you make armor appear over your person, or does that just affect your physical
It
appearance?
affects your clothing as well. But
Alright, good.
Well, I do have the cloak of many styles, so if I had to, I could really, you know.
I think that like changes colors. It doesn't appear like spiked plate mail. If I'm
Let me double check it. I can find it. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
find it.
disguise self allows you to change yourself into any appearance, but if you were to have, say, giant like shoulder pads or whatever, if someone was to put their arm to try to slap you on the shoulder pad, they'd go through it. So it's just an illusory thing. Yeah, I am not built for making people escape, unfortunately. Oh, I'm trying to find if I have any magics that might help in any of this.
I do have a scroll of blur that could be helpful. If someone knows, you know, if someone could use it, you know, it could blur them so they won't be as easy to hit or whatever, or, you know, we could blur Trinia so they can't see her as easy.
We could
Well, just by any chance, see if I can do this with strings.
If only we had a wizard that had rope trick.
I don't know, man. Dimension door.
Yeah, that'd be nice too.
Guys, just cast Wish.
I wish. I wish.
Is anyone like? I know we were kind of on the side of not trusting the queen. Could this possibly be a setup by her?
That is a good point.
That's a very good point.
Well,
I
let's
hadn't
think of it this way.
considered that.
What would she gain if nothing but the Requisitors were put at fault, or us? What would she gain from it?
Hello?
Besides,
Oh yeah, Kingy boy.
He's a future king.
It's exactly me. She'd make me look like a criminal.
I'm only saying that because you guys decided you didn't trust her. So
She seems nice out there. She seems nice. I like her.
Is there a way we can do this without killing anyone?
We could just make chaotic to the point where no one can really make a plan because everything's happening all at once.
I have an idea.
What's your idea?
I don't know if I can move it. I just clicked it because I can't talk.
So that is going to take 1 whole minute to cast, and it is stationary.
If we're there ahead of time, I'll have time to, take the minute before they get there, hopefully, or we'll be there for. And at the very least, she'll be protected since you guys say that the Requisitors are fiends, so that she could be protected from them.
In that 10-foot area.
Yeah. So that'd be the problem, is trying to figure out that exact area for her to be in, so we could at least keep her in there while we try and take care of stuff, Or we could all just be in a circle and just be like, fuck you guys, we're taking her, and then we all jump in the black hole and disappear, and hopefully we just all die, something, I don't know. Does anyone have Dimension Door? That'd be cool.
Not as a cleric.
Could we perhaps maybe get it from our four-legged friend, Pierre? By tomorrow?
How do you know of him?
I got my cloak from him, and then my pretty.
That's actually a really good point. Maybe we could get like a
Scroll of Dimension Door?
yeah, something like that. And then we could go with me on this. I don't know how this works. DM, with the portable hole, can people how is it when they're inside of it?
You don't know.
Open it
Let's
up.
throw Yannick in there, and if Yannick comes out breathing, we'll be okay.
Well, because I wonder if you could just stick your hands out, okay, so go with me on this. Somebody walks in with the portable hole. The 2 rogues are inside of it. They poke their hands out. They take all the locks off and things like that, and then you use the Dimension Door scroll, and the one person in Trinia get out of there, and with the portable hole, so everyone just boop, is gone.
Well, I can hold my breath the longest.
But you can't do locks.
Why do we need to unlock her if I can just reach into the hole and then teleport out?
Grab her. Just grab and go. Worry about unlocking her later unless she's stuck to a chain, stuck to something else.
But what if like the well, I'm worried that the chains and locks would be magically enchanted.
Ah, yeah, that could definitely. Oh,
I can dispel.
I have a spell. Yeah, I could dispel it. So we could do that too. But only if it works.
What's the range on dispel?
120 feet.
Oh, so you could do it from like a nearby building.
Mm-hmm. This is dicey, guys.
I like it though.
It'd be really cool if we pulled it off.
Alright, so first things first, Rafal's going to pull out the portable hole and say, Agrimar, get in.
Yep. I will go in, and I'll start counting up to 10 minutes.
Alright, so Agrimar, as you climb into the portable hole, it's effectively like the old Looney Tunes cartoons, the old Acme hole that Wile E. Coyote uses. So it's this movable, tangible, empty space. And you find that upon climbing into it, there aren't any sides or bottom or anything to grab onto. And you find yourself effectively like, once you've climbed in, just what feels like falling through the air. There's nothing for you to grab onto. There's no visible point of what is the opening of this bag. It's just absolute pitch blackness on the inside. And you find yourself just kind of tumbling, who knows where, head over heels.
So I don't see an opening.
You do not, no.
Okay, so as soon as you pass the plane, okay.
Yeah, once inside, you're effectively in it.
Okay.
You can try to make use of, I believe it's a strength or athletics check to break yourself out. Let me look that up.
Would I know if that breaks the item? Because I don't want to do that.
Having not done it, roll me an Arcana check.
I am trained in Arcana. This is... Oh, that's 21. Show me your secret.
You would know that it does not break the bag, but let me double check. I think it. Oh no, sorry, my bad. I am thinking of a bag of holding. With the portable hole, a creature inside it can exit the hole by climbing out.
That's
okay,
what I
so you step into what looks like maybe dark space, but you can see the hole.
Yeah, so effectively it's like a portable well hole.
Okay. And
how
deep is it?
10 feet.
Okay. So Agrimar steps in and like he kind of falls over and then stands up on the opposite direction. And like I stick my hand up, standing up, and my hand comes out like 3 feet.
I am Rafal. High five it. Yeah.
But I can't. Once I cross that plane, it's well. I guess is it open to air where I can breathe, and when it's closed, then I can't breathe.
How long you want to stay in it to find out?
Roughly 10 minutes. Holding my arm outside. And as soon as you start seeing my hand go limp, pull.
So you can survive for up to 10 minutes.
And
if it's folded up, yeah. So I guess as long as it's unfolded, you can breathe.
Okay, so
but if it's folded up,
closed in darkness and can no longer.
Okay. So that's how it is. So if it's folded up, then you can use your action to break out. So if someone's like carrying it, you have to use your action to break out of it. Otherwise, if it's already like opened up and displayed, like if somebody already took this effectively cloth and threw it over something, then you can climb out of it on your own volition. But otherwise, you have to break out to escape from it. And when it's closed, that's when the 10-minute timer starts for breathing.
Gotcha. So I kind of like put my other hand out and climb out of the hole. If it's open, you can breathe. It's fresh air. But I assume that once it's closed, it's going to, we have roughly 10 minutes of air.
Hold on, I want to try something. Rafal's gonna put his shield just kind of on the ground, and he's gonna slap a portable hole in the front of his shield, and then he's gonna say, and then he's gonna put it on the table. He's gonna say, "Hey, Kevin, get in."
Is your shield 6 feet in diameter?
Oh, that's sick. This is gonna be great.
Fully stretched out.
Yeah, it has to be fully open.
Oh no, that wouldn't work.
Oh, dang. That would have been so cool.
Great idea for an item.
What if you just follow the enemy so cool?
The negative space shield.
So my PHB finally bit the dust.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got pages coming out now. You're fitting.
No.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you can write wizards and they'll send you a new one.
No, if Sam were the president of D&D Beyond, that wouldn't have happened, Lucas.
Okay, so I can.
I think I really like the idea of the Dimension Door, the Dimension Door spell, and
Because I know, you can take at least one person with it, but I think you and one other person. So, I mean, as long as we can get her and someone else out there with her, the rest of us could, disguise ourselves or get out of there because they're not looking for us, hopefully. Because I think I have disguise self and Bale has disguise self.
The weird thing about, say, Dimension Door or something is for this plan at least, is the portable hole does count as an extra dimensional space. So 500 feet away from where you are physically while inside the hole isn't necessarily.
No. It would just be walking up, touching her, and porting.
So long as you're out of the hole, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, once we're in the hole, Rafal could just bamf out.
No. You can't do it if you're in the hole, is what Ryan's saying.
No, I know, but someone has to carry the hole.
So after, if everyone climbs into the hole and then it gets folded up, then yeah. Kind of almost like what Corbin Reed did in Longacre.
Carry it
where everyone climbed into this hole, it got folded up, and then they teleported out holding it.
Dimension Door is 400 feet?
5.
I think 500.
500.
500? So that's not even
very far
out of the district.
Right.
Could we get back to the Phoenix Feather Inn with it from the Gold Market?
Not in 500 feet. You can get a lot closer.
Are there any abandoned buildings along the way?
And the southern gate is the closest gate, right?
Yes.
And you got to remember, the Requisitors can fly. So
They can fly?
Oh yeah, they're not fun.
they are.
This is new information. Why didn't you guys tell me that?
Well, by the way, they can fly.
And they can cast 9th level spells, and they blow.
They make things go boom.
Oh my god. We might die.
They have no regard for human safety. They will blow a building.
Let me throw this out there. If she dies, I can just bring her back.
Why don't we focus on the not dying?
Let's just say it's an option. As long as I get there within a minute of her dying, then I can keep her. I can revive her if need be.
So what's the plan so far?
To get her out of the city.
Okay.
That is as far as we've made it.
Good.
Solidly. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
Like we get like, oh yeah, this will work. Oh no, that definitely won't work. Okay, back to square one.
Also, real quick, just because we started doing it in the Star Wars campaign, if people have extra magical items that are not being used presently, the newest party member could certainly make use of them.
Let me see what I have. I'm not
Especially if there are any extra magic items to help them spread it around.
Yeah, let me double check what I have.
So from what I can see, there are 3 entrances into the gold market, at least 3 big ones, right?
3 main ones, yeah.
Okay. How would she be transported, with a carriage, or are we talking like?
Yeah, can we do like a history check to know how they've done previous executions?
Typically, those who have resided in the city would know that typically it's not the Requisitors left in charge of the executions. Usually it's done like by the town guard, or in more serious circumstances, even the Emerald Enclave.
I was going to say, she's going to be getting transported by the Emerald Enclave, right?
Oh, they could.
Okay, I remember like when we very first started this campaign that there was a beheading in the Golden Market. A Requisitor was doing.
In charge.
Correct.
I wish we knew how to get a hold of this Blackjack character.
Could we ask like bigger staff, like if he knew who was being headed in, or like why the Requisitors were in charge of that, and how the Requisitors like could we do just specifically on that one event? Could we maybe figure that out?
So I'll just go ahead and tell you guys
that was being put down for the revolts that were happening after the death of the king.
Yeah, it was kind of very chaotic as far as figuring out who was actually in control of the city, and so during this time, the Requisitors made use of the power that they had to just carry out public executions on rioters.
Yes. But like, did they like just gather them as they saw them, or did they have to, get them in a carriage and bring them to the square, or like, did they hold them in a cell and then have to go get them? Like, how did that happen? Was it just like
was never looked into.
Okay.
How is she dying? What are they going to do?
Beheading or hanging? One of the two. I don't remember.
I'm remembering hanging, but I'm not too sure.
I feel like it was hanging after I said beheading. I'm pretty sure she's being hanged.
If I have time to prepare, I can cast Sending to get hold of Blackjack.
Sending, what does sending do?
It allows me to send a message of 25 words to a creature that I'm.
Are you familiar with Blackjack, though?
Have I seen Blackjack?
Like saying, I'm familiar with Batman, but do you know I'm willing enough to send him a mental, message?
Yeah, there's only one Batman. Only one Blackjack. I know a name.
I know a name, and I know.
Anyway,
Is there a Blackjack signal?
So we have an idea of how to get her out of town if we can get either a teleport or a dimension door scroll, right?
Well, I thought we said dimension door really wouldn't be too helpful because it doesn't actually.
I think. Okay, let's think of how to do this without magic, or with what we have at our disposal right now. So at our disposal right now, we have 2 rogues that can undo the chains. We have a portable hole that she can jump into. I have fine steeds, so like I could jump on a horse and book it. We have all of these kinds of things. You guys have dispel in case like the chains are magical or something like that. But I don't know what we could do. Because you're right, it just seems like a setup.
Quick question. Never mind.
No, and we need question. Help. Do it.
Okay. In the gold market, are the gallows? Do we know if she's being hanged?
Yeah, I think I said she was being hanged.
Oh, okay. How's the gallows situation looking? Do they have it set up in the gold market?
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check as Kevin effectively leaves the inn to go scout this place. Kevin, making your way out of the inn and traveling down the road, you're gone maybe 20 minutes when you come up to this opening in the streets as the large city market space is effectively looking to be cleared out from the normal market stalls, as it's also the end of the day and everyone has probably gone home. But at one end of the market square, you can see a gallows has been erected.
Is anyone guarding it?
There look to be about 4 city guard, just kind of not intently keeping watch, but kind of loosely keeping an eye on the situation.
Oh, I just had a great idea.
Do we sabotage the gallows?
No. What if we were able to kidnap the executioner and have one of us disguised as the executioner? Like, this would be if we had a scroll of dimension door, and then when she's up there, before he pulls the lever, like pulls out the scroll, dimension doors away to a disclosed location where we then put them in a portable hole and get them the fuck out of the city.
I could be the executioner. That'd be cool.
My only concern.
Oh, I have an idea. What if we let her be hung? We got some, like one of the ropes to sneak up underneath the gallows, place the portable hole down, someone shoots an arrow to cut the string, she falls into the portable hole, they grab it and they disappear.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So,
Do we have invisibility? Does anyone cast invisibility?
I cannot.
Because if you do that invisibility with the portable
well,
hole,
where that
you
is.
just fold it up.
They'll just be
walk out
invisible the
invisible.
whole time. Yeah. We could ask our four-legged friend, I'm sure that's kind of not a more common, but I feel like that is, not like a crazy hard one.
I think what we just learned is, though, as long as if we go and install that portable hole like tonight, the person could just stay in there because they can breathe.
But a hole
it's a big hole. It's kind of noticeable.
Underneath the gallows?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like a deck,
Until
really.
morning. Here's my only problem with all of this is we don't know if the Requisitors have any way of detecting and or stopping magic.
Can't think like that.
I'm just saying, if we leave a portable hole overnight and they have to come out and investigate it, then they're going to know.
Nah, you're probably right.
Underneath the thing.
I like to find someone who to make someone invisible, and then they could do the portable hole underneath. I think it's like a half Pirates of the Caribbean, half magical.
Not getting countered if they can counter something. Because if you pull out a scroll, they have a chance, if they can, counter it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like
How-
the whole idea.
How easy is it? Like, do we know how easy it is for people to see invisible people? Like, will we know if they have that ability? Because that could, put
That-
damper
But
on
I
it.
mean, even if you like, Kevin's not big.
Oh,
Kevin
can hide
could
amongst the crowd
easily
easily
sneak
enough.
through the crowd and like up underneath the gallows. I'm sure. Like,
I'm fun size, thank you.
Luckily, Rafal took the opportunity that Kevin was out of the inn.
No, I'm digging the only crux is making sure that she doesn't snap her neck on the way down through the hole.
Well, that's why we kind of have to like make sure we shoot it right before it does. It has to be like literally perfect timing or really good shot. Like that's what
I mean,
everything
Bale's
is
a
aiming
pretty
at.
crack shot.
Or if everything else fails, we can make sure Agrimar is in the portable hole. So if she does die, Agrimar's in the hole. We can cast his spell on her, and then she'll be okay later.
That's true.
That's very true.
If she
To
snaps her
Agrimar's
neck,
prior
I can cast
point,
Spare
if
the
she
Dying.
dies,
I can cast Spare the Dying and instantly stabilize her.
can't you just cast Revivify?
I could. Let me make
Because
sure.
like it would be within a minute.
That's an action as well. So yeah. Okay. It's crazy enough to work. I get in the hole. I would have to hold my breath for 10 minutes until you can open the hole underneath. But that should be fine.
She just had to sneak through the crowd and make sure she opened it, and hopefully, Isn't there? Oh well, I mean, we gave Browser the necklace of adaptation that might help you breathe in a hole that you can't breathe in. Maybe borrow it.
On myself. Oh, this actually won't work. Well, it gives me advantage on Constitution checks. I can cast Bear's Endurance on myself to give myself a fighting chance after my 10 minutes of time in the black hole, plus the 4 minutes of time that I can hold my breath.
And the more people in the hole, the less
The less air.
Right.
Just saying, if you revive Trinia, then your time is cut in half inside the hole.
Even like if Trin or if Kevin gets the hole, and she is caught, we could play like pass the potato with the black hole, and like with the mass chaos of oh my god, she disappeared.
hold on.
Kevin could like run into.
Let's go back to her dying. So if she dies, I can just cast Gentle Repose, and I have all the air to myself, and I can revive her later.
Yeah, I mean, so that could work too. Just make sure she's dead before we shoot her into the hole.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if she comes down and she's alive, then it's just okay. We hold our breath or we use up the 5 minutes and then hold our breath up for as long as we can after that. But if she dies, I can cast the spell and then hold my breath for 14 minutes.
So now the hard part is we have to make sure we cut the rope. With Inquisitors looking, they could possibly stop an arrow or a spell that's there to like cut the rope.
Bale dresses up like Blackjack and shoots out from on top of the building, shoots the thing, begins to run, and as he runs, he gets into cover, transforms back into Bale, and then takes off.
Oh, that's a really good plan.
Yeah, I like that.
What do the gallows look right now? Is there a noose ready or just empty?
So basically all the wooden beams are in place. Everything's ready to go except for the rope.
The rope, weren't you? I like where you're thinking. I think
What?
Sabotaging the rope?
We could just sabotage the gallows.
And then I can cut her free when she drops through the hole. I mean, that's certainly possible. I like the idea of pinning it on Blackjack. I think the shooting of the rope will work. as long as Bale hits it.
What if he doesn't? What is our contingency plan?
I'm not very that good, but I could possibly be dressed up as a Requisitor on the gallows, because don't they have a couple up there? And if that fails, I can just swipe with my dagger and hopefully cut the rope.
I'm doing this from a range and not having anyone directly involved.
Yeah, that way we can have some plausible deniability.
We could have, like, me up in the
Alright, do we
So-
have anything else
Yeah.
that might work for hitting a rope?
What did I miss?
Oh, we're trying to find different ways of hitting that rope.
Okay,
Oh, if we can talk to Mr. Four-Legged Centaur Man, we can get a scroll of magic missile. Automatically hit the rope.
Oh, yeah, that automatically hits.
So if Bale doesn't hit, then you can, from another roof as a Requisitor, dressed up Nari, you can cast magic missile, and so that way they can't chase after two people, and you guys can both change your disguises once you get into cover.
I like that.
okay,
But
so
that's if we can get that.
let's go over the plan one more time. Like so far, what we have so far. Are we all in favor of the? Oh, what is it called? She falls into the black hole and she falls into the black hole dead. Are we all kind of liking the plan so far?
I like that plan.
Okay.
One way or another, alive or dead, into the hole, and you carry us out.
Okay, so Agrimar, you're going to be in the hole.
Yes.
Okay, so beforehand, you're going to be into the hole.
Yep.
While the execution is going on, I'm going to sneak under there, put the black hole under where the body is going to drop, let the bodies hit the floor. And she's going to come down. Bale or Nari, depending on if something goes wrong or if it doesn't, is going to cut her loose. They're going to run off, change disguises. She's going to fall into the black hole. Agrimar, depending on how everything goes, you'll revive her. And I just got to get the hell out of there.
Yep.
How do I get out?
Sneak.
Scramble.
What could possibly go wrong?
Don't you dare say that.
I'm going to die.
What I can do is, before I go in there, I can cast Enhance Ability on you to give you advantage on your dexterity checks. And you don't take any falling damage from for falling 20 feet. So if you have to move and jump off things, then...
Mm-hmm.
We need to make an emergency call to the Centaur.
I think we need to make an emergency call to Centaur. Let me make sure...
Can we make it an emergency? I don't know how to do that.
Didn't Phelan have like a card or something?
Yeah, does anyone have one of his tarot cards?
Bickerstaff does. I got it from him last time we bought alcohol.
You sound so responsible when you said that, when we bought the alcohol.
Well, I have to keep this place well stocked. You guys drink quite a bit, especially Miss Nari there.
I haven't drinking with you guys. I just feel jealous. I feel left out.
So if you guys want to summon him, all it's going to take is just ripping that tarot card.
Wait, one more thing.
And you can do it now or later. Yeah.
Let's say all else fail. Bale misses the shot. For some reason, the magic missiles just go askew. What do we do then?
You jump on the rope, cut it, and then pick up the black hole.
I hate
Well,
to
when
see.
she come, all right. So can we assume that she came back and was telling us about the gallows?
Yeah, by now,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
should
fine.
have said
No problem.
How far or how tall is the platform?
Let's see, 1 second.
Based on what she would be describing to us.
bigger than a giant.
Bigger than a giant.
It's about 10 feet tall. So it's high enough to do the job.
Right. I was gonna say I could try to reach up and cut the rope from underneath and then drop into the hole.
I don't think Agrimar is tall enough for something like that.
No.
Because it'd be the 10 feet up to the floor of the gallows, and then the
At least
height
5 feet.
of
That's what it
Trinia,
would be.
and then the rope. Yeah.
Yeah.
With like a jump spell, you might be able to pull it off. But
No. What about? Hold on. What about vertical jumping? What is vertical jumping? It's 3 times your strength modifier or something.
Yeah, that'd be very obvious.
Of course,
the
obvious.
jumping
So
giant.
is a halfling jumping up and cutting a rope.
Oh my god, oh no.
No. The halfling's on the ground. That's why we gotta cut the rope.
I know. I'm
This is
just saying.
like
She's saying
if
this
all
is
else
none of it
fails.
Like nothing works. What's
I mean, if all
What's-
else fails, you just run up to the edge of the hole and cut the rope with your giant, with a, like I do it with a big ass sword, you do it with a whatever. Like, I have a 6-foot reach, you have a 6-foot reach.
Well, the thing is the hole. The hole is going to be 10 feet below her body.
Yeah. That's why you gotta be in there just in case this, like, all goes to shit.
I think is we need to induce some chaos into here, get people out of the market square, get people running all over.
Okay, so you can jump 3 times. So I can jump 7 feet.
I mean, the problem with this whole plan is that we're all really close to the center, too. You're right. Like,
I mean, ideally, it's only 2 of us.
okay, the queen said that she was going to be able to.
Cause
use
a
a
distraction.
I
distraction.
forgot. We
What
should
if
have
the
asked
queen
what
is
this.
blackjack.
Hadn't considered that.
I mean, she is also one who is terrified by sleeping, so she wants to stay awake, and she can conceal herself, apparently. And she's quite stealthy, and she slipped a note into a rogue's pocket without them knowing. Just
She
saying.
was the last person we were near.
But how often can a queen get out of the castle unnoticed?
Well, she did.
Apparently, whenever she
get-
feels like it.
Yeah, she did talk to us.
Yeah, but that's just one day. I mean, your blackjack's been out.
She,
I mean, it's good. I'm not denying it. But,
Blackjack's been around for a few hundred years.
oh, really?
He's like an old folk legend of the city.
Have there been instances in which he doesn't appear for a gap in time, or has it been constant sightings all the time?
There have been gaps in his appearance, yes.
By how much?
I believe the longest gap was 50 years.
50 years. Does it coincide with, let's say, the royals, or let's just say the queen's ancestry? Like, let's say someone dies and it takes them a while to be.
Not so much with the queen's ancestry, no.
Okay, what about just the royalty, or just the royalty?
Go ahead and roll me a history check, Kevin.
So plan B, sword swing, get into the hole, and get away.
Sorry, Kevin, you're just not sure. You're not familiar enough with the
I
history.
just arrived here.
Exactly.
What was your question?
Does the blackjack sightings and the gaps in blackjack coincide with maybe deaths or births or just general happenings within the royal lineage or something?
Well, Rafal studied the royal lineages.
Go ahead and roll me a history check with advantage for fall.
23.
Rafal, you would know that blackjack doesn't necessarily coincide with the royal lineages in so much as it's more like a symbol that appears anytime getting bad in the city.
If it's the same person,
When did...
If it helps, kind of effectively, kind of like Batman Beyond.
Yeah, a new.
If that helps, where it's like this symbol is a thing and it's existed and it's part of this city's history, but it's not always there. It's kind of just there when the city needs it to be.
Okay. I really like the idea of Queen, the blackjack. I don't know anything about it, but it's intriguing. But we gotta think about this plan. So we know that the Queen is going to provide a distraction, right?
That's what she says. And she says she can provide a distraction. So, which we're assuming she's, because she doesn't know we don't mind if she dies or not. So she'll probably try and do the distraction before she gets hung
That's
or
what I
whatever.
was thinking. Yeah.
But that could be the perfect time for Kevin to move in and get herself situated underneath the gallows.
That's true.
Could be a perfect time for everyone to get in position during that distraction. And then, hopefully, I mean, heck, we could even make some sort of explosion happen as she falls to kind of get everyone to blink away, and then she's gone, and then everyone's gone, and then there's mass hysteria happening.
How big would this explosion be? Because I think the Queen said that if...
Even just like a firework or something, just to kind of startle someone for a minute.
I mean, I can cast... Well, I don't know if it would work, but I could cast daylight, like right where she would be.
Yeah, that'd be like blinding.
I could see the rope getting hit, cast daylight on the existing rope, and instantly a second sun pops out for a brief second. That way it's not damaging or anything like that, but it'll just give us a brief moment of, even more sunlight. I don't have, like, shadow or darkness or anything like that, though.
And we can't have... Nobody can cast disguise on another person. It's only on yourself.
Yeah, I can only cast on myself. Dale might be able to cast on other people.
No, I'm pretty sure he's got
This
disguise.
is only... Oh, okay.
I think we have it. I think it's just a matter of
Pulling it off.
for that matter, I mean, we might not even need the magic missiles if you want to just hit it with, like, Eldritch Blast or something, Ari.
Yeah, which I have a feeling Bale will be able to hit it. He's normally pretty right on the spot with shots, but this is the time it counts. So it's just, because I have Eldritch Blast, which I think is my only distant thing.
Okay, here's what we can do. If we have Bale in, like... Because you said it was near the back of the market, right? So it's near buildings?
Yeah.
So if we have Bale in a building and we have Nari in a building and you both shoot from different buildings, both at the rope, one of you should hit it, hopefully, and then that could possibly work.
Yeah, and then run as fast as you can away from where you are.
Yeah, Nari's great at running. Oh, but I can disguise myself and get lost in the crowd really easily.
Well, like, okay, so here's what I'm thinking, is that you two could be in the buildings and do that. Kevin's going to be underneath the gallows with the hole. Agramar's in the hole, and then Rafal is going to be standing like near the gallows, so he's going to be the last fallback, like run up and cut it with his sword if everything goes to shit.
Well, that could work. But also, you have the steed, so you could be kind of maybe because we're hoping. I know it's like a big hope, but like like you said, we don't want to get up front. But what I was thinking is if we had you kind of far away, not far away from a market, but in a place that Kevin could easily get to, she could hurry get to you. You could get the black hole and get out of the city before the alarm is raised because you have your noble steed and get the fuck out of there. And we can all meet at the thieves' camp after like maybe a day. If you could get out of the city and safe, we could get her out of the city and. I don't know if they could disguise her. We could get the disguise kit at the very least. I think Bale has one. We could steal from him and buy him a new one. But that way, because you could get her on your steed in the black hole because you only have 10 minutes. So you could run as fast as you can for those 10 minutes. Maybe get either that south gate is there, but if you could get to like this square even, then you could probably get them out of the hole and then get the rest of the way out to the city, hopefully before panic rises. And then Kevin and Bale and Nari can meet back at the Phoenix Feather Inn, and then we could find our way back. We could find the point to regroup after that.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, Kevin could cut the rope too. So
yeah, I mean, we have options. We'll be close enough in the buildings, but like Kevin could jump up and cut it. But it's like if there's an arrow and Eldritch Blast, like come on,
get 2 shots. Like that's 4 shots. Like you guys should be able to hit it.
At the very least, Bill could let off like 2 shots real quick, hopefully, or we can make it somehow. I feel like
and that should
if we don't hit him 2 shots, it's just not meant to be.
Above for Kevin and I to get out.
Mm-hmm.
People will be looking up at some
With
kind of
the shot.
motion, and then
Yeah.
she'll be sneaking below everyone.
All right, and Fall will be waiting in like this back alley, like with his steed, and he will scoop up the halfling and get the fuck out of there.
So we're gonna have to wait until like as soon as we see them starting to bring her up, in order for me to have the most amount of time in that hole. As well as the most amount of time on the enhanceability, because it's for an hour.
Well, we can wait to put you in the hole when the queen makes her distraction. We'll put you in the hole and get Kevin up there. Like you guys would be kind of close by, and then as soon as she makes her, if she actually does her distraction, otherwise we'll just be like, well, fuck, what do we do now?
I think it can start without distraction.
Yeah, because she's super sneaky. Yeah, so I think she shouldn't have too much of a problem. I just don't know how adamant these Requisitors are going to be. That's my only, as I don't know their skills very well. So
what we could do is maybe put a watch on the square to even before the execution to see how tight maybe security might be beforehand.
Yeah, we could like have someone watch to see where, like, because they might be in different, like, because some go ahead of time and have hiding places, so we could have an idea as to exactly who is where and what.
Yeah.
All right, I think this is a good plan. Let's execute.
Wait.
Do we need
So we all need to take a long rest. That's the first thing that needs to happen.
As the party settles down in the Phoenix Feather Inn, that's effectively where we can take a quick break too, or halfway point. So everybody take 5, and then we will refresh the plan in everyone's minds, and then we will pick it back up. So be right back.
Oh man, this is.
I'm so excited. I know it's going to be so intense.
This is it's not as complex as the first plan we came up with.
Yeah. Let's go
But
ambush
we
the
can-
Inquisitors and try to throw her in the hole and teleport out. Yeah, this is slightly easier, I think.
It reminds me of the ending scene to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Totally. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I can just tell I'm going to screw this up.
Nah.
I've done this once before.
I noticed Ryan didn't give us those points this time, no.
This would have been an opportune moment to have story points.
Right? Like, okay, we automatically passed the killing of, or the cutting of the rope. We're good. That's all we needed. We're good. Oh,
I
goodness.
think
I'm so
actually the
excited.
hardest part is going to be us getting up to it.
Yeah.
Because if they
Probably.
do some kind of like a perimeter around the gallows, it might
Gallows
work.
To try and keep the crowds back or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
what distraction's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why we need
get that
to.
distraction.
I think that's also why we need to go have someone stake it out throughout the night and early into the morning to see what they're doing. Sorry.
Well, I only need an hour. If I don't sleep, I'll get exhaustion point though, but
No, everyone has to sleep.
I need my spells really bad. I'm completely.
Everyone needs to be in tip-top shape for this.
yeah, probably so. This is like one of those things where it's like we had a plan and now it all comes down to the dice rolls.
I love it when a plan comes
Feels
together.
like when we were stealing that stupid necklace.
I know and I love it. I had so much fun with that. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be just like that. I'm so excited. We don't have to think about that part of it. Now we'll just get the girl's head cut off. Or broke off, however you want to think of it.
Well, I am going to be preparing. The spells that I'm going to be preparing are going to be to keep her alive in whatever situation I can.
I think it's important that we have some sort of call or sound or something that we can make to say we're bailing on the plan. Like if we notice that it is a setup or something, I think we should have like some sort of like whoo, like really, really loud, you know? So it's like, oh, bail, we're not gonna do it. You know, they're trying to set us up and it's all like, I don't know. There's 6,000 Inquisitors that come out of the sky in a heartbeat. Like, I don't know.
It's a trap.
Exactly, one of those.
Story pigeon.
Okay,
Right.
I'll be right back in like 2 seconds. Sorry.
I have an idea. Bickerstaff could stand in the crowd and act as a relay, because as long as he could see everybody, he'd be able to telepathically communicate with them.
If we want to risk Bickerstaff, we can't risk the innkeeper.
All he's going to be doing is standing there.
Actually,
Yes,
that
well-
would be something that Bickerstaff would do. I mean, he's old as shit.
He's got nothing to live
Probably pay
for.
attention to these kind of things.
I have to say, like this for Kevin as a character, the backstory I wrote. This is making her nervous. I love it. This is great. Again, I'm very sorry if I'm very excited or annoying.
Please be excited.
Love it.
But let me just say, thankfully that you're not like our previous player that we had, and you're not afraid to do something crazy. Because we had a sweet lady that was playing with us, and bless her heart, she didn't want her character to die, and she was playing a sorcerer, and all she would ever do was cast shield on herself because she didn't want her character to die.
Oh, I don't want Kevin to die, and I feel She's gotten out of some tough
Kevin's
situations.
already got his bear arms.
Yeah, I know. Bear arms. Exercising my Second Amendment.
And it's very evident that you're probably not going to come across another set of polar bear arms in this city.
I know. It's so great.
Would you say that we're going to cause pandemonium?
Yeah, we are. It's going to be unbearable. We're going to bear hug people.
You guys are going to
instead.
have to come up with something new.
I know.
Wait, with these
Bear
bear puns, let's say we make it into a weapon, and hypothetically, let's say that there's like some extra bonus stuff along with it if I can make a bear pun on the spot as I'm hitting people.
Then I think that will be awesome.
Like I name an attack, like I just come up behind someone and I just slash their stomach open with these bear claws, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry for this bear hug.
And man, will it be gruesome.
Yeah. That is if we survive today.
Right.
This is great. So many things can go wrong.
Oh boy.
But I'm confident we can do this.
Okay.
I am also here.
Oh, here.
And if Rachel's back, I think we are good to go.
So, Ryan, did we get any inspiration for all that talk?
I mean, there will definitely be some more talk, I think, after this session.
What happened?
Nothing.
I was just asking Ryan if there was any inspiration.
All right. Everybody here?
Yep.
I am here.
Rafalo's here.
Whoop whoop, Kevin in the house. Or in where we're at, sleeping at the moment.
And Amanda?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So, before the party turns in for the night, if somebody would like to offer a rough idea of what the plan is so far.
I got it. I wrote it down.
Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Step 1, Agramil gets into the black hole. 2, the queen provides a distraction. 3, as the queen is providing a distraction, I get into position along with Neris and Bale, who also gets into position at 2 separate buildings. Okay, 3, no, 4, 5, execution.
Oh, shit.
Exclamation mark. I know.
Profit?
Oh no.
Profit.
Maybe. I haven't written down that far. I just wrote a question mark. 6, Agramar cuts her down while someone causes destruction as she drops down. I get out, everyone scramble, and I get down to, what was it, a noble steed?
You get to Rafal on his noble steed.
Yeah, Rafal in a noble steed. And we get the hell out of here, and I'm going to draw like everyone's smiling, and I'm holding a mug of mead, and we're all drinking mead, and we're happy. And we also get her out of the
I
city.
like this story.
Thank you.
What a happy ending.
I know.
I think like the setup is Bale and Nari are gonna go their separate ways in the morning and find buildings to get up into. Nari, myself, and Rafal, not Nari, Kevin, myself, and Rafal will find a back alley and prepare for when we start seeing the procession. I will then get in the hole, and Kevin will take me to underneath the gallows, I believe. That's kind of how the setup will be. If that sounds right.
Sounds good.
All right. So the party turns in for the night with all sorts of what ifs and thoughts about the next morning, what it may have in store for them. You complete your long rest, successfully heal back up, gaining any spent spell slots or abilities,
And my exhaustion point.
and Agramar and Rafal's exhaustion point is rested away.
Before Agramar turns in for the night, I will send up another prayer to the three. I am doing something I believe is foolish, but many lives may still be saved. Please bring your guidance upon us. And then he goes to sleep.
In case I die.
Go on.
And I hate to do this, but I wrote a backstory, and in case I die.
My question is, would Kevin like to confide in somebody?
Yeah. I'll
Confide in me, Nari loves you.
Yeah, I know. I love you, Nari. You're fantastic.
God.
But Nari, I have a confession to make.
Okay, I'm ready.
My name's not Kevin the Giantess.
I lied. I was not ready for that.
No. My name is Zahara. I was originally not even from this continent. I belong to a thieves guild from that continent. I was about to be initiated, and, well, a plan like this where I was going to commit this huge heist, and, well, things went wrong, and the entire thieves guild was on my back, so I took the first boat out of there and arrived here, panicked, and that's my name, Kevin the Giantess. Instead of Zahara. So, whoops.
So hopefully the same thing doesn't happen tomorrow, and then you have two groups on your back, right?
Yeah, except I might be dead.
Well, if you're dead, I'll be dead too, probably. So, cheers to that. Bigger staff, I think this calls for a drink, definitely.
It does. Let's get wasted.
Well, no, because we definitely need to function in the morning. But
I'd like to picture Nari saying this out loud, kind of like looking upstairs where she knows Bickerstaff's bedroom to be, because he's probably already asleep, and reaching in and pulling out several bottles of wine.
yeah, we can't get too wasted, but here's the bottle for you, and the bottle for me, and the bottle for when we're ready to share. We'll get all into stories. I got stories for you too, don't you worry.
Let's get 25% wasted, but to the past. Let us never repeat it.
Oh, I'm all for that. Oh, yes, that's a good one. I drink to that for sure. So, Sahara, but I will only call you Kevin. Your secret is safe with me. I want to hear more about these stories with your thief skills, though. You know, I too am from a different continent. I am actually originally from Aberdeen, but I haven't been there in like a really long time, so I just tell people I'm from all over.
What made you come over to here?
Well, I kind of just ended up here, honestly, because I like to follow artifacts, and so I follow one story after the next, and then I ended up here. And the reason I'm actually in this city is because there was a map collector that I was supposed to meet up with, but when I went to meet up with them, there was no one there, so that kind of sucked. But then I heard about the Tomb of the Uthlok, which had this shield, and she's going to point to the shield with the eyeball. And so it actually really didn't end up being like a wasted trip anyways, so that's really cool. But then I also ran into Bale, and I knew him from a previous time. He actually locked me into an old tomb, not a tomb, but a temple of sorts, and I was stuck on the ground for like a really long time, and I almost died. But in like my dying breath, I like was talking to the wall, and it was like talking to this creature that was like shunned from civilization, and I think it heard me, and it listened, and it like opened the wall, and it gave me this really cool spear, and it saved my life, and so I owe my life to it, and I told it that I would make my life purpose to figure out what its name was, because its name was scratched out all over everywhere. But I think I finally figured out that its name is Kronos, and I owe him my life because he saved me when Bale tried to kill me. But we're over that. Me and Bale were okay now. It was a long time ago. There was treasure involved. You know how that goes. But I got a really cool spear out of it and a lifetime friend of Kronos.
Well, I'm glad that to know that attempted murder in this party is forgivable by one party member. This is good.
It is very good, especially, yeah. So I'm going to raise my glass to Kronos. If you cheers with me, yeah?
Yeah. To Kronos!
And I take a
drink.
drink.
Go to bed already.
Every party needs a pooper, that's why we invited Agramar. Party pooper.
Yeah. Yes, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Him and Raffle, they can party pretty hard when they're depressed, so don't be surprised. We failed today. You will see the worst side of them, I promise.
Well, let's not waste time any longer. Let's head to bed.
Okay, I'm gonna gather up the bottles and put them back and put the cups, make it look like we were never there. Bickerstaff will never know. We drank half of his stash.
Jeez.
Okay, now we're really going to bed.
As the night fades into day, the sun begins to rise. As dawn takes MistHaven, as the party finds themselves one by one getting ready for the day before them. Is there anything you guys would like to do to prepare?
I would like to say a prayer. Not really a prayer, but more of like a speaking to Kronos, just like, hey buddy, it's me again. You know, I don't know if you're gonna be there when I die or not. But if you're there, that's gonna be really cool to see you. And if you're not, I'm gonna miss you. And I just hope you know I tried to spread your name as much as I could in the time I was given. So wish me well, good friends. I'm gonna like hold my spear up, and then I'm gonna make my way downstairs to find Bickerstaff's breakfast.
Anybody else?
No.
Am I still covered in blood?
You could have washed off the night before if you would so choose. Otherwise,
Bathtub here.
they do have a bathtub at the inn.
Yeah, I need to get this blood off of me.
You would be less noticeable with not blood on.
Yeah.
No, I just I wake up and do my morning meditations for my spells. That is it. I am not feeling hungry with all the butterflies in my stomach.
Agrimar, you definitely should probably still eat. You know, just in case we don't want you passing out from exhaustion. Because if you're hungry, these things happen. So here, just try a little toast of bread or something. You know, whatever Bickerstaff made this morning. Here, just try a little. At least eat 3 bites. 3 bites. We can do this.
You're so charismatic. Fine, I'll have your frickin' toast.
It's really good if you put some butter on it. Here, try
And some jam and jelly.
Yeah, there's some jam over here too. Here, just load it down up. Yeah, it's gonna be really good.
Oh, and you could put some honey on there with the jam and jelly and the butter. Oh, and some cinnamon.
We can
Maybe
have
sugar.
Okay.
Step on sugar.
Breakfast
Give me the damn toast.
Agrimar is ready after he's had 12 pieces of toast. Formulas between plain buttered with 1 jam, buttered with 3 jams, buttered with 1 honey, buttered with jam and honey of 12 different varieties.
Don't you feel so much better now and ready to take on the day?
Actually, I think I'm quite sick, but
I'm gonna sit this one out. Good luck.
This reminds me of the time when I had to get a camper to eat 12 bites of some stupid shepherd's pie.
But this is better because it's toast.
Yeah. With jam, jelly, butter, honey, cinnamon, sugar.
Agrimar or Riffle, there's no more toast left, so I hope you want something different for breakfast.
Porridge is fine.
You know what you could have in porridge? You could have some ham, honey, sugar, cinnamon, some apple chunks. I'm just trying to lighten the mood because we could die today.
So, you know, we should enjoy it together. This is going to be a good day. Good day.
let's quit delaying the inevitable and get to it.
Okay.
It's a good day to die. No, I will give a speech. So, while we all may die today, I want you all to know that I'm proud to have known each and every one of you in your devotion to this city. And I think that we're all doing a very good thing in saving Trinia's life. If we don't see each other again, I want you all to know that I'm very proud to be a member of the Order of the Phoenix. And Kevin, if you're willing to join, you're one of us.
May I just say thank you for this?
Thanks,
This is
but
so
no
nice.
thanks.
Thanks, but I actually don't like you guys. So.
I actually have an appointment for
And
this
that's when the
morning.
Requisitors come in and arrest us all.
All right, break it up, break it up.
Kevin,
None of
tell
that.
us all about all of you.
Yeah,
I will
she's
shove
actually
you
a
in the purple
Requisitor.
hole and close the top.
Now Kevin is the sole owner of the Phoenix Feather Inn.
Bickerstaff would destroy her mind.
Well,
If
thanks
you had taken. Okay, yeah, that is a good pep talk for fall. I'm very just ready for this. And I just realized in that speech that, I've been around for a little while and all of a sudden I come to this city and, here I am risking my life for a city I don't even know. So yeah, I'd say a really good pep talker because I wouldn't do this with any other group. So here we go. This will be fun, yeah?
If we all survive this, I will make you honorary badges for your persons you can keep, like an amulet or a necklace or some sort.
I already have a very pretty amulet, and she points to her emerald necklace. I should probably put that away right now, though, because I don't want that to be too flashy, so she can take it off and put it in her bag. But thank you, yes, I will be excited for that. Yes, it'll be really cool. Okay, so let's go, I guess. It's early morning, we want to be able to scout around, make sure we do what we do. Yep.
And before emerging from the Phoenix Feather Inn, Bale's kind of one final double check, like, so we are splitting up then, right? Or are we all going to go there together?
Split up.
We should all go separately.
What is our final meeting place? The Strider camp?
I'll see you all in hell.
I'm not going to hell, thank you very much.
We hope not, at least you are a cleric.
If that's the case, then Chrono be the god that is watching over all of us.
Like I said, I don't know if he's a god or not. He's just really helpful in really bad situations. But yeah, I think we said the Strider camp. Yeah, but I mean, we could all go together. I mean, I'll be disguised as a poor villager for a little while, and then we'll switch it around.
I don't want your person to be associated with us. I
I
think
see.
it's probably the best bet.
That's okay. Yeah, we'll split up. We'll split up, and so I guess it would be good for me and Bale to probably go first before everything gets too crowded. And then everyone else can just kind of follow in, and we'll keep an eye on you guys from the buildings we're in. So it'll be good, guys. It'll be good. It's gonna be great.
Can I just say I drew a bomb picture of us celebrating? I hope to show it.
I would love to see
I
it.
hope you show it to us, but when we get back, okay, it'll give me something to look really forward to.
It's so stupid. Okay.
Okay.
Now we have to survive.
Just for that, I'll survive.
Well, I mean, if not, if we all die, this is a pretty death too.
Our memoir.
I mean, sad in 2 ways.
This is about to get really intense really fast.
Yeah.
So Bale dips out the front door, just giving everyone, well, see you on the other side.
Till next time, old friend. And then I'll follow after him after like a couple minutes, and I'm gonna get out of the inn, and then in one of the first alleyways, I'm just gonna change into like a really normal looking, average Joe. And I'll make my way to the gold market, and then I'll kind of get a feel for the situation, and then I'll figure out what building to go in. I know that Kevin told us kind of the layout of where it was, so we probably had an idea of what buildings we were going to be going into beforehand. So, but yeah, I go.
Nari heads out, followed by eventually everybody. And so, Nari, since you're the first of those who are here to get to the gold market, you effectively see, and everyone else kind of, as they enter this space, they see that it appears that this execution is kind of, well, it looks as though the people in attendance look to be the toast of MistHaven. They are garbed in all sorts of garish gowns, fine capes, and what looks to be enough jewels to blind the common citizen. The overall feel of this market square is much more along the lines of like a party or like a grand ball rather than an assassin's public execution.
Oh my dear, I can't believe that we're going to watch a crime on our hands. It's such wonderful.
I can't wait to see her next nap.
Oh yes, twitching around.
Beach blush.
Precisely.
I do declare.
I dare say. These
I
people
should have left my necklace on. Oh my goodness.
As everyone begins to kind of move around and take their positions as planned, eventually things start to settle in, and you guys spot Queen Leosa emerging amid a great flourish and pomp as heralds announce her arrival with a fanfare of music and drums. Walking forward, she looks to have fully accepted this mantle of the sole monarch of the city, as she's carrying herself with a poise and style that's very evident of her grace. She wears a green and white silk dress worth thousands of gold coins and looks to be attended by a small number of these striking plate-armored women, the Mist Maidens. Chief among those Mist Maidens is the prominent form of the scarred helmet of Sabrina. Though she's not immediately recognizable, it's because of that helmet of hers that bears the same scar that her face once did, that kind of sets her aside from the others. As the queen takes her seat in a high throne-like chair at one end of the public courtyard, the other side of this market square stands the gallows, ominously just kind of towering over everyone here. Whispers begin to ripple through the assemblage as admiring comments on the Queen's attire and predictions regarding how the traitor Trinia might comport herself, speculations on the identity of the armored guardians who are standing at the Queen's side, and even some gossip you can hear spread around about some of the party's exploits. You can hear whisperings about some foul rumors they heard about cannibals spreading throughout the city that were supposedly put a stop to by the city guard and some hirelings that they had employed. You hear talk about how the commotion at Longacre was broken up by another such group of hirelings, that it's not, more and more stories are spreading that it's not the city's officials that are effectively getting the job done, but of other individuals. Then, as an ominous drum beating begins, the gawkers fall silent. The drum seems to set the pace for Trinia's procession to the executioner's block. As around the corner come marching two purple plate mail armored individuals, and between the two of them, chained, is this small, roughly 13-year-old girl with short blonde hair, Trinia Sabor. As they pull her forward through this market space, everyone's remaining silent at this point. There's a hush just kind of ever present about this space, and as they reach the gallows, the base of the stairs of the gallows, one of these Requisitors reaches up and just throws a hood over Trinia's face. And they begin stepping up the stairs, roughly towards the middle of this gallows platform. And one of them begins the process of loosely placing this noose over her neck. As it seems in the earlier hours this morning, the rope was then prepared.
When I see that, I'm going to cast from our alley enhance ability at 3rd level, touching Kevin and myself, giving Kevin the Cat's Grace, so advantage on dexterity checks, and giving myself Bear's Endurance.
All right. And that's a concentration?
It is.
For those? All right.
And now's the time.
Let's grab this plan by the balls,
I'll
bitches.
jump in the hole.
As Agrimar hops in, Trinia is kind of pushed towards the front of this platform, where she's led to stand, arms bound behind her back by these chains, as the Queen is seen rising up from her chair. Fellow MistHavens, you've suffered greatly these past few weeks. Homes have been burned, family members have died, and fortunes have been lost. I feel your suffering, for not only have I lost a beloved husband, but with each act of anarchy that followed, my heart bled more. This has been a trying time for us, but I would hope that our torment can be put to an end. Before you is the source determined to be, before you is the very one responsible for your anguish and pain. And perhaps on this morning, what was set wrong may be set right. I offer you her death as a salve against the hatred and hurt that so many of you have suffered. I would not wish to delay this any further. Let us usher in a new dawn of justice. Carry on, as she takes her seat again, as the 2 Requisitors kind of pull her back over what appears to be a trap door from what from those closest to the platform. You can see she's placed onto this trap door. And can I get everybody that's not in a portable hole to roll me a perception check, please?
Okay,
Right.
here we go.
I get temporary hit points.
14.
Ooh, 10 temporary hit points.
Oh, wow.
All right.
I'm gonna roll bad.
Bale.
Bayless, rolling as well.
He's involved.
You got a number. Rolled okay. As the Requisitors effectively come up to either side of Trinia and look to just kind of hold her in place before kind of releasing their own grasp and making sure she stands over that trap door, kind of on her left and right to keep her from trying to flee. As
Was that our distraction moment?
Yeah, when the Queen was talking, I'm pretty sure that was the distraction that Kevin was going underneath.
Mari, this thought goes through your head, and Rafal, you're beginning to think, like, if they're not going to cut it, maybe now's the time to act when from behind you, one of the noble figures that was gossiping earlier, you hear them cry out, "By the gods, it's Blackjack!"
Oh, it's the Queen.
Okay, run.
I'm running.
Instant later, a man dressed in a hooded cloak and black mask springs up upon the farthest rooftop and looks to begin rappelling down the side of this wall. He's then followed by an identical figure, and another, as half a dozen blackjack figures look to leap off of the rooftops nearby the marketplace, and all of them begin rappelling down this wall into the crowded space about this gallows platform, as a large commotion is beginning to stir the populace. The Requisitors effectively start re-gripping Trinia, like just in case.
Seeing all the blackjacks from my position inside the building, can I make myself look like blackjack too?
As Nari's form shifts with her action. Absolutely.
I'm going to use this commotion to try to sneak up to the gallows.
All right. Kevin, go ahead and roll me a stealth check with advantage.
Okay. I don't know how to write this.
Because people are very much distracted by it.
Okay, come on.
Oh yeah!
A 22, okay.
Roll it one more time just in case you get higher.
Oh my gosh, come on. Oh my gosh.
As the split second that Kevin spots a majority of the crowd turning around, she takes initiative and just sprints under the platform where Trini is at, and making use of blending into the shadows underneath, begins the process, I assume, of unfolding this, what feels like a handkerchief, unfolding it again and again and again, as you place it onto the ground underneath the gallows.
Okay. Ooh.
Kevin, would you like to stay here underneath the gallows or return to that alleyway?
Oh no.
About 20 feet away.
Oh no. I have to pick it. I have to pick up the.
All right.
I'll stay. I have
All
to.
right. 27 is a pretty good roll to stay with.
That
The
sounds
portable
wonderful.
hole is set into place. I think we need some more fitting music. This one's called Moment of Tension. We'll see what it
Dun,
sounds
dun,
like.
dun, 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 dun.
As the images of Blackjack towards the rear of the crowd make impact with the ground and turn and just look to start sprinting through the crowd, a number of them starting to move from side to side, another voice cuts through. Yes, indeed, my queen. Let us usher in justice, but let that be justice for MistHaven, not the shambles you call a monarchy. Long live MistHaven, and down with the queen. As a figure garbed in black, his face concealed by the mask he wears, leaps off of the rooftop from the building behind where Trinia stands. You can see Blackjack leaping into the fray. Can I get everybody to roll some initiative?
Well, this didn't go according to plan.
What the hell?
Let me bring you over to the map.
I rolled so good. Rachel, you also get advantage on your initiative.
Okay. As AG,
And Nari, you also get advantage on your initiative because of that shield.
That's not right.
I know, I'm trying to roll for initiative, it's just not letting me. I think I forgot how to roll for initiative.
You might have to click on the token for Kevin before it lets you click that button.
Okay.
You dirty paladin.
Okay, I think I.
You know what the best part is?
Wow.
Bring up the fact that the ball didn't bathe.
What?
He called you a dirty, dirty paddle.
So, Rachel, you can actually roll that again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was
And
thinking-
Amanda, you can as well.
Ooh.
Better. It's a 12.
Much better.
All right.
Oh, shit. So, what do we do? Oh, what do we do? What do we do?
Stick with the plan.
I know that. Ah.
This is exactly what happened when I.
Well, that's not foreboding at all. All right, so
Under the gallows at the moment.
during this surprise round, as Blackjack is leaping off of the rooftop. All right, let me. As Blackjack leaps off of the rooftop, he's already got an arrow notched and looks as though it's ready to fire. As his grip looks to aim not towards Trinia nor the gallows, but towards the royal tent at the side of the square. As he lets loose an arrow, the pitch black whip cuts through the air and with pinpoint accuracy looks to seemingly miss the queen as the arrow sticks into the side of the tent roughly a foot from where the queen is seated presently. As the arrow makes impact with the tent, an audible hissing sound can be heard. As Blackjack continues, he makes impact with the ground. If I can click it, there it is. As Blackjack hits the ground. With that, we jump into initiative with Rafal. If you would like to act.
Is that where I'm standing? Aren't I supposed to be off in the alley?
I thought you were amidst the crowd, just in case something went wrong. You were there to charge up the stairs as the last resort.
No, I'm supposed to be the getaway car.
Yeah, we changed that part. So he's going to be in the alley and like getaway.
So Rafal, you spot this from in the alleyway, back behind the gallows.
Is what triggers the trap door?
It looks as though there's a lever up on the platform. About almost right behind Trinity.
And she's on the platform with the noose around her neck, right?
She's on the trapdoor with the noose around her neck.
Okay.
If you don't want to act, we can cut to Agrimar inside of the portable hole.
Well, what I'm thinking is, like, if the Requisitors go after Blackjack and she's just left up there, once the rope is cut, Rafal can, like, try to trigger the trapdoor.
Oh, yeah, and then she could just fall straight into the hole. But that only gives us 5 minutes.
That's okay.
Okay, sorry.
So,
Mark's planning on killing her inside the hole. Giving him 10 minutes.
If I must live, then she must die.
You're
so
like...
what would have to happen for Rafal to get up on that platform, or not? Maybe not even get up there, but just to like trigger that lever.
Throw a dagger at it to knock it loose or something.
Heck, if there's a barrel, I'll throw a barrel at it.
There are some loose stones and brickwork back in this alleyway, and you can certainly try.
I might be able to do something about that.
You're in a hole.
You're in a hole.
I can see the bottom of the trap door. I might be able to see the mechanism and undo it from underneath.
I could probably do it.
Right now, Rafal, what would you like to do?
I'm going to hold my turn until after Blackjack.
All right. Agrimar.
All right. So the hole is opened up underneath, and I'm looking up, and I see the trapdoor, and I hear the commotion, and I can't see anything else besides what's directly above me.
Yes, you see the wooden planks of the floor as well as the trapdoor almost directly above you.
Okay.
It's still closed.
Right. With the trapdoor, what kind of mechanism is it that's holding?
Roll me an intelligence check.
Certainly. Let's see. 14.
I mean, just from what you can see down here, it looks as though it's a simple lever. Effectively, they pull the lever and it moves one small beam that's holding up that trapdoor down below out of position.
Gotcha. Okay. I will, I'm gonna just delay until something happens. I have no idea what I can do at the moment.
All right.
I'm in a hole. All I can see is if that door moves or something else happens. There's nothing else I can do.
All right. As you are holding, you can see, you can't see, but everyone else can see. Nearby where that arrow made impact, nearby the noble tent, a figure shimmers into appearance. A purple garbed figure, the Lord Commander of the Requisitors, Severus Devere. His invisibility drops as he looks to be holding up some reddish crystal gem in his hand. As he's holding it high up in a loft, he is speaking. Does anyone know of this?
Just to humor everyone, I'm going to check.
I have Celestial is the only divine language I know.
And is a no
So he is speaking something, and he is very passionate in the wording and verbiage that he is making use of, as this crystal-like gem that he is holding gives one solid flash of this reddish light. And as that reddish light fades within this moment, a number of figures stand before Severus Devere.
Demons?
They don't look to be nearly as human as your compatriots, as they are standing about 5 to 6 feet tall, but there's a noticeable hunch in their back, as they are weighed down by these robes that they garb themselves in. They have horns atop their head and a purplish, blackish hue to their skin. They have very long nails that come down into sharpened claws, and a number of skulls decorate their person. As these three hag-like figures appear in this space, the crowd just starts going wild and starts noticeably scattering, leaving this space as fast as they can, as Severus Devere effectively calls out in common at the conclusion of this spell, "No one will escape justice." As we have Nari.
Oh.
Actually, Nari, what's your dexterity modifier?
+3.
Nari, that hissing sound audible from over by the noble's tent stops hissing. And there's a click before flumes of smoke just pour out from this arrow that was shot and conceal the entirety of this noble's tent behind this cloud of smoke that has appeared. As Blackjack sprints forward, leaping up towards the platform of the gallows, He looks to have a rapier in one hand and a dagger in the other. With one hand, he is swiping towards the closest Requisitor, and the other, he is looking to make a slash down towards the chains that are binding Trinia. As his rapier plunges into the Requisitor, he noticeably draws blood, as his blade is coated in this fluid substance, as he makes use of his own person to do his best to block this lever from either of their reach. And now, Nari.
Oh, that changes things, kind of. You know what? Not really. From where I am, I would like to aim for the rope that is around her neck, and I would like to shoot the rope around her neck. But not like around her neck, but the part that's like above her head.
Right. You want to blow her head off. Got it.
Kill her. I need the air. Hard target.
What?
So it's going to be a hard target to hit.
25?
25.
25 is going to split that rope.
Okay, so then with my second Eldritch Blast, I want to try and aim for the lever.
All right.
Oh my god.
With the intention of triggering the lever, or with the intention of destroying it?
Triggering it, so that way she falls through, because I know there's the hole waiting for her. So I want her, because since they're obviously not going to pull it, I cut her loose from the rope. I want her to fall into the hole now, so I know she's safe.
With this being the case, are you proficient in Arcana?
I am not.
All right.
Of course she's not.
I don't know if this will work, because I don't know if it's really like a horse thing, but like, you know.
I'm just thinking it sounds a little more like a skill check rather than an attack to effectively make use of an Eldritch Blast to trigger the lever.
I could try a skill check. You know, whatever. You're the DM. So
Sure, what have you got in mind? Which of your skills?
Persuasion?
So-
Can I persuade this lever to move?
I convinced it. I do have a suggestion shield. I could suggest it to open.
Will it to move?
Oh, jeez. Okay, skill check. Let's see. What can I do? I mean, I would honestly probably say performance, because it's like, you know, but I'm not really good at performance, but in my head, I'm like, I guess that'd be it, to see how good I am at casting my spells, to see how well they perform, to do the task I want them to do, compared to exploding it and making it work. So, I'll go with performance. That's okay.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, that's our
Oh.
As you see Blackjack in the midst of this dance, deflecting the Requisitor's attempts to stop him, you can see that despite his best efforts to keep the Requisitors from touching or affecting this lever, an arcane blast of energy comes flying through and just snaps the lever right in half. The lower half of the lever is still present, but you've destroyed half of it.
Okay, then. Oh, let me double check something real quick. I want to move from the spot I'm at. But let me double check. Where is it? So my mask of many faces says I can cast Disguise Self at will without expending a spell slot, but does that still require an action?
Still requires the action cast.
Okay, that's fine. I am gonna try.
Currently, you look like Blackjack, though.
Yeah, so that keeps things very interesting. I am gonna try and duck in, like, cause I'm in the building, so I'm gonna try and make my way to like out of the building, but I don't want to get completely out. Actually,
Just start making your way towards the exit.
yes, but as a Level 1 rogue, is it level 1 where I can use a bonus action to hide?
No,
I think it's level 2.
Level 2?
Not positive.
So I have sneak attack. So I think that.
But you can use a bonus action to move twice your movement.
Well, I don't want to get out in the crowd looking like Blackjack. I want to make sure, because seeing the commotion that it's caused. Maybe I do, maybe.
Second level rogue, you can use your bonus action.
Okay. That's
Dash, disengage, or hide.
Okay. So, yeah, I want to start, because I assume I was on, like, the second story of this level, so I could get a good, clear shot. So I guess I'll probably use my movement and bonus action to get to the door if that's what it takes. And then, yeah, I'll, right before, I guess on my next turn, I'll change. You know what, fuck it. I'll leave the building moving like Blackjack. We'll cause a really big distraction. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get as far out of the building as I can. So wherever that is, because I assume that's on the second story, so I have to go down the stairs, out the door, and then I'll be here.
So making use of your full movement, you can get just outside the building. Going downstairs and up to the front door.
That's perfect. Yeah, I'll do that.
We'll say that puts you about here on the map.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I did what I was told to do, so there we go.
All right. As one of these purplish skinned...
Wait, I said I wanted to go after Blackjack.
All right, go ahead.
So after the rope has been cut, Rafal's going to... I mean, he just has some rope. He's just going to take his rope. He's going to, like, make a lasso. He's going to run over, like, back behind the platform. He's going to jump up, and he's going to try to throw that lasso and pull that lever.
All right, go ahead and roll me an acrobatics check, I think, for this.
Oh, you doing flips?
No, you've been doing it.
Lasso the lever.
That's pretty good!
Oh!
That is pretty good. As you watch as this small hoop makes its way over Blackjack and looks to fall short before it is tightened as Rafal yanks upon it. And effectively, if you'd like, you can pull it open.
Yeah, he just wants to...
With a yank, Rafal's action is to effectively open the trapdoor as Trinia falls. And you hear this voice from beyond this hood. Just this shocking gasp as the rope is still around her neck as she falls through this trapdoor. She just starts to scream. As her screams continue downwards in Aggramar, she is effectively plummeting down towards you.
I'm going to catch her and then put my hand over her mouth and sink into the hole.
All right, go ahead and roll me an athletics check.
I would love to roll an athletics for you. How does a 23 treat you?
23, you are able to catch her, as you are only going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage as she lands on you.
Okay. I will take that. Out of my temporary hit points. Haha! And I
but it will
maintain
be
concentration.
All right.
And I will whisper to Kevin, now.
And Rafal's just going to leave the rope and get the fuck back to his horse.
How far away from you are you right now compared to me?
I'm in that alley.
Oh no.
Roughly 40 feet, but as a rogue, you can double your movement, so you can get 50 feet. You should be able to run out. Close.
Okay.
Kevin, being the closest of the party to this cloud of obscuring smoke, you can hear voices echoing and echoing each other. And it's peculiar because it's as though the echo is happening before the loudest verse is spoken. It's like a reverse echo, if you will. And it is off-putting, to say the least. And then you start hearing this as a number of figures start to step from the foggy cloud. Each one of them seemingly wisps of this smoke themselves. Very canine in appearance, very Very much something the party has seen before. The shadowy hounds of the Requisitors start to appear.
What?
Stepping free from the
What?
smoke, a number of hounds
What?
effectively emerge from this cloud of
I can tell
smoke
you about them for
and start scattering around this open market space.
No. No.
What would you like to do?
Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Everything's going wrong. Okay. Oh, my God.
guys.
I'm going to just quickly, sloppily, I need to get the hell out of there. I'm going to fold up the hole.
All right, so you take your action to start folding this handkerchief back shut.
Okay, and then, God, I am going to...
I start counting down, or counting up to 5 minutes.
Okay, I am going
Real time, right?
make it to bolt to refall. Is there any chance I could try to do this stealthily?
If you want to use your bonus action to sneak, you can make use of your movement to just book it.
Yeah, I'm going
What's your
to.
background, just in case. Oh wait, we're in combat. Never mind. It wouldn't matter.
So, roll for stealth?
Please.
Okay, come on.
In stealth, it's what, half your movement?
Oh, you have advantage on this because it's a dex check.
Yes, you do. That's why I did it.
Okay. 19.
Come on, let's get better.
29!
Yes!
That's a critical. Okay. Okay. Okay, Is over here okay? I think that was 25 feet.
Right next to Rafal is 25 feet.
Yeah.
Where does the icon is?
Okay, and then I'm going to use the rest of my moves just to move Rafal. Where is... What's going on? Oh no. Yeah, I'm going to use the rest of the move.
To fold up
Oh
the hole.
no.
Is that an action or is it an interact with
It's
object?
an action to fold up the hole.
Okay, so that's an action, and then you used your movement to go there.
Oh no. Okay, so I can't. I'm a fit. Is that all I can do?
I believe so. That is your 3 actions.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're basically hiding in the alleyway now, so that could work in our favor.
As the first Requisitor, being harried by this masked vigilante, he's going to turn in the direction that he saw this Lasur head, and he's going to launch a fireball effectively at the closest building, which is still going to encompass, as the fireball explodes upon impact, it's still going to encompass the gallows platform here, but effectively...
This is where you see the full might of one of these Requisitors.
The 2 Requisitors are swallowed by these flames, along with Blackjack, and Rafal and Kevin. Can I get you both to make dexterity saves, please?
Kevin, you get +3.
+3. Oh wait, I don't. It's just checks, right? It's not saves.
No, it's saving throws.
That's from Rafal.
No. I'm talking about my thing that I gave her.
Yeah, your thing.
Oh yeah, your thing is just checks, but my thing is saving throws. So that's a 22 for me, and a 13 for Kevin.
For Kevin the Giantess. Oh no.
Oh no, am I dead? No!
But she's a rogue, so does she have evasion yet?
Nope, that's next level.
Next
Next
level.
level.
Damn.
Could I see the attacker?
I'll say yeah, you could see the attacker as he casts this spell.
Can I use uncanny dodge?
If it were a weapon attack, I believe.
Oh dang it! Oh no! Okay.
Or no, just for an attack, but because it's a save, it's not an attack roll being made against you. So.
Good try. Use all your resources.
The good news is that Rafal is going to take a quarter of the 30 points of fire damage from this fireball.
Oh, that's right, because of my shield.
Because he passed the save as well as the resistance that his shield gives him.
I'm dead.
Unfortunate news is that Kevin's going to take 30 points of fire damage
30,
as
you
this
should be alright.
fireball explodes
So I take
of this building. So,
7.
7, yes. As more of these echoing voices can be heard from somewhere inside that smoky cloud.
Can I hear anything while I'm in the hole?
When it's open, yes.
When it's open? Okay, so if it's
Right
closed,
now, you're
shut off
effectively in a different plane of existence. You're this pocket dimension.
Gotcha.
Quite literally. But the harrowing howls that follow the explosion of this fire as more hounds emerge from the smoke around this noble's tent, just one by one stepping forth,
Oh my God.
themselves seemingly solidifying from this blackish smoke. As the other Requisitor turns towards Blackjack and takes one strike at him, as his
Blackjack,
blade
come on.
arcs downward, slicing across the armor of Blackjack, and you can see a splash of red flow outwards and scatter some of the woodwork and bricks nearby as Blackjack takes the hit. And it looks as though the wound is seared with fire as the Requisitor's blade hits him, and it burns and it hurts. As the Requisitor rears back and takes a second strike and just cleaves into the back of Blackjack. As we are back to Rafal.
Rafal's going to use his full movement and his action to get to his horse and get up on there and be ready to go.
All right.
No.
Full movement in action. You can get up to and mount your horse. And next turn, you can start making movement with the horse's speed effectively. But you are on the other side of this alleyway at this point. And Agrimar. What's going on inside this hole? As you are currently inside with a bound woman who's got a hood over her head and a noose around her neck. And she is just continuing to scream.
I will just, shh, save your breath. We have limited time. And I'm going to, begin, I'll take the noose off her first, and then try to start undoing, her shackles.
All right. As you start undoing the noose, the chains are still very firmly binding her wrists. The hood, you have no problem, as well as the noose. You can loosening those and just pulling those off with a free action.
I would like to try to break the chains.
Go ahead and roll me an athletics check.
You know what? I'm going to say this is a heroic moment. That's really good. That's a 17 on the die. 31.
31. Agrimar, you grab hold of these chains, and with an exacted calmness about your person, your palms begin to glow this fiery red color that you saw once in a dream, as the chains just crumble in your grasp. And she is effectively freed.
And I just give her a big hug.
And she is quick to wrap her arms around your big old neck. And she just starts effectively just weeping openly.
It's a bear hug.
She just starts crying these praises into your ear with a kind of hushed whisper. I knew you'd come. You said you'd save me. I knew it. I knew I could trust you. You're the best Agrimar. I knew you'd come save me. You kept your promise.
Okay, I'm done.
Are we going to keep it secret that we were going to let her die?
She'll
I mean,
never
you can tell her as soon as you pull her out of the hole if you want. Kevin and Nari, each of you roll me perception check. Actually, what's your passive perceptions, Kevin and Nari?
Let me just bring it up.
I have a +3. I'm always bad at trying to figure out the passive part.
Passive perception.
What, 13? Is it just add 10?
Yeah, just plus 10.
Okay, 13. Passive.
And Kevin's was?
I am looking for it because I'm not too sure.
So where you go to click perception, what's that number that's right there?
Oh, 7.
Okay, so it's that plus 10 for your passives. Plus 10 on all of those for your passives. So that's effectively when you're not trying to roll for it. And like something like this happens as Kevin, despite your fleeing from this marketplace, you can still hear more of those hushed, whispered voices just echoing endlessly within that cloud behind you as more smoke seems to be pulled and moved, if you will, as something joins the fray.
Oh no.
What the hell? And I'm stuck in a hole.
As the first group of hounds effectively start sniffing the air.
Oh no.
And then kind of just circling about, starting to spread themselves out as if they are searching for something. As the highest roll is going to be a 19, as they still don't seem to be picking up on Kevin's escape route. With your 19. Yeah, 29. Yeah. They're not beating that just yet. But you can see
Oh, we lost Ryan.
These four start effectively moving down this direction across the market space. And S to V, as more of them start sniffing and smelling the air. That's only going to be a 21, so still not quite picking up your scent,
Oh
Kevin.
my gosh.
Perhaps it's due to that bath that you had just the other night to wash whatever scent Kevin naturally sets off.
Wow.
Not here currently.
I feel insulted.
As more of these dogs just start scattering and spreading out across this market space. Nari, noticeably these guys are moving and cutting off your path to, if you were planning on cutting across the market. There are 8 of these shadowy mastiff hounds, all actively sniffing and searching this area.
And they're looking for where Trinity has gone, right?
Well, because these guys were in the smoke originally, whenever all of that went down, they're not exactly sure where the party is or what direction to go, as well as their conjurers didn't catch line of sight as to what was going on. So they're continuing to move around,
that's good.
but they're just not, they just haven't set their focus yet. So those guys continue to move as Blackjack is going to take this opportunity to leap off from the gallows, disengaging from the Requisitors, and it looks as though he's starting to scramble back up the rooftop, the side of the building at least for now, in the direction, same direction that he appeared. He's starting to go back up. And with his bonus action, can continue to climb up. And
what is this?
It's going to vanish from your current line of sight. Nari.
I want to use my action to change into a nobly looking person, like someone I would have seen, here earlier. I don't know if is the entire crowd like completely vanished, or is there still like some people trying to run?
Most of the crowd has dispersed at this point, as all sorts of nonsense is going on. The images of blackjack you saw originally have looked to have all vanished in this chaos. You don't know where they went, what they might have been after, or even if they were real.
Yeah,
You step out of this building in the visage of a noble, and all sorts of chaos is going on out here.
Yeah, so I definitely want to look like a noble, and seeing the dogs and my cat instincts, I want to run in the opposite direction of the dogs. Using my full movement and my feline, or I moved. Let me see. I have the feline ability. I just read it 2 seconds ago, and then I got all distracted.
It allows you to double your movement speed, but on the next round you have to move 0.
Oh!
Or, no, sorry.
You can't use it again until you do 0. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to use that this time. And I just want to get far away from the dogs, going in the opposite direction. I want to look like a noble person fleeing, though. Hopefully dogs don't smell cats and chase. That's my hope here.
All right, as Nari starts fleeing in another direction, more hounds start sniffing the air.
Oh no.
And they start moving around and dispersing from your line of sight as one of these purplish figures steps out from the smoky cloud to about there and just starts looking around for anything that she can see. As she looks to wave her hand over her person, and her purplish skin shifts colors, and very much like what Nari had just done, looks to shift her own appearance into that of a more common person, common folk, as she starts stepping away and also effectively walking away. Where? You're not sure, but she's moving. Kevin.
Okay, I'm going to. I need to book it. Going to sneak through the alleyway to. Let me just measure this. I don't know. To maybe about right here.
All right, so just sprinting down that alley?
Sneaking, yeah.
All right, so with your movement, you can get about halfway down the alley. With your bonus, you can effectively make it all the way down and then about 10 feet out the other side of the alley.
But I'm still not on the stoop. I'm not on the horse. Oh. Okay.
You can see the horse from where you were at. If you double move, you can see the horse. If you triple move, you could even make it up onto the horse.
I'm going to triple move it.
All right, so foregoing the stealth for speed, Kevin sprints down this alleyway, triple moving her full 75 feet of movement in order to climb up on this horse.
Well, I remember I read something. Expertise, choose to your skills, cunning action, uncanny dodge. Come on. I remember I chose something where I didn't have to use movement to climb.
Yeah, that's
you're a thief. You have second story work.
Yep.
So if you want to go up the building instead of down the alley, you can certainly do that.
Sure. Doesn't that just basically mean like it doesn't, because normally climbing is double movement, so it doesn't cost you double movement to do that.
Yeah.
So you still have to use your movement, but just not double movement to get up a building.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do triple action. I'm going to be careful about this. I'm going to stop. I hate doing that.
So move 50 feet in stealth?
Yeah.
All right. So you can just see the horse as you make it to about the other side of the alley.
You see Rafal is just motioning for you to like get on the horse.
Hurry,
Can you just
hurry.
like
28 recall. I don't think you've spotted her yet.
And actually, she gets to roll again because she still has advantage because of her thing. Avamar gave her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That
So I get another natural
concentration.
20. 28.
So you just start booking it down that alley, being as sneaky as you can. Anything else you would like to do, Kevin?
I'm going to yell, like, just start the horse. I will try to grab on.
Start the horse!
Start the horse.
Awesome.
I don't know how horses work, gotta be honest. They're a mystery.
All right.
We know.
As hounds start sniffing about the air,
Oh no, I don't like that.
Several others seem to pick up on this same scent and echo that howl. Nobody currently has line of sight to them, but it sounds like they picked up something.
This is intense, guys. This is intense.
And the
Things happen, and
I don't like that. Is Blackstock still alive?
You don't know.
He's gone.
He went up, and rather than climbing that building, he went down the alley, which is why I was making sure. But Nari, as you are sprinting away from the marketplace and fleeing from a lot of canines, if you will,
Nari's worst nightmare.
the worstest of nightmares. Nari, if you look over by your token, you can see something looks to soar overhead. It's about 40 feet above you currently, keeping lower towards the rooftop. It seems to be very serpentine in appearance, but its wings are feathered as it is soaring, just gliding, almost swimming its way through the sky overhead. You catch just the briefest glimpse of it before it vanishes over the roof, the next rooftops. But this feathered serpent is what you see for a moment.
Oh, that's interesting.
With everyone more or less out of that marketplace, we can cut to more theater of the mind and kind of more chase rules, if you will. So we're fall. We're now mounted upon that horse.
This time, those food carts and dogs are really going to get in our way.
Rafal has to delay his turn until after Kevin's.
All right.
No, just start the horse.
Yeah, I was about to say, Rafal, wouldn't you be able to run and like grab her and keep going? Like
no, she's coming down the alley. I'm waiting on the other side of it. Like, she needs to get to
in the alley. Oh, okay.
Avamar. You were continued to just be beset by tears and kisses on the side face as she's continuing to tightly grip on your person, not letting go.
Okay. Yeah, I was, I do have a question. These, masks that I picked up, are they a full, like, helmet or just a face mask?
Just the front.
Alright.
The picture on that one is, I think, the best kind of descriptor for it.
Gotcha.
We should have brought a change of clothes. Oh no.
No, it's alright. It's alright. Yeah, there's nothing I can do at the moment. Just trying to keep her calm, save our air.
All right. As things happen.
Oh, actually, I have torches.
Are you going to try to light them on fire?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna start taking the rags that are on the ends of the torches, which they're kind of like doused in blackened, and start trying to rub it through her hair to darken her hair.
Yeah, we forgot to give you a disguise kit. That was part of it.
I've got some stuff. So
totally forgot.
I got a couple of torch rags, and I'm gonna start running it through her hair to darken her blonde hair. It's very intimate in this hole. I'm glad none of you guys can see this.
Agmar, it's almost happy inside of this little quiet place, compared to the outside where those echoes of hounds continue to grow as more and more seem to pick up whatever that scent was.
Oh, no.
The third natural 20 is rolled by one of these dogs.
What?
Well, wait. It's a 20 on their perception?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
is their perception plus 8?
You don't know?
I don't know. I'm just asking because it's not an automatic success on a skill check.
And also, not everyone's stealth currently is 28.
That's true. What's
so you hear these
in a black hole? Like infinite?
You don't know. For all you know, you're already one of their mouths.
Just dying hair. That's all you know right now.
No, it's getting friendly in this hole right now.
As the billowing howls start to fill the air of what was a relatively still, quiet morning, it's just these inhumane howls, very ghastly, very hollow, shrill sounds that just send goosebumps over your spines. As Rafal, as you are here with the horse waiting for this moment, you catch sight of a dark cloaked figure leaping from one rooftop to the next, and he looks to fire some sort of device, like a small hand crossbow that attaches a line of rope, if you will, from one rooftop to the next as he starts just gliding down this rope.
Oh, what if they're just after Blackjack?
Well, we know the Queen's not Blackjack because they've been seen in the same room together.
Not
true.
But
Well, I
you know
mean-
who still hasn't?
Cassandra.
Zephyr.
Well, there could be two Blackjacks. We never know.
Somewhere.
Plus, we know that she's good at illusion magic, so who knows?
So Nari, as you are sprinting from these dogs, what's your intention?
I am heading towards the gates of the city because I know that we talked about meeting at the Strider camp. So basically, I'm just trying to make my way to the gates. My dogs are going crazy one. Oh jeez. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get like to the gates of the city so I can get out of here. If I duck into an out, like if I'm running and like I get to an alley or something, and I notice maybe there's not a lot of noble people here in the alley, I'll use my action instead of double moving. I'll use it to switch into I look like a more commoner person, and I won't run anymore, but I'll move faster pace, but like try to get to like not the commotion area, still trying to keep it on the down low, just making my way out of town. That's my goal.
All right.
And I'll be right back.
All right. Kevin.
I'm going to continue with the sneaking thing. No, I'm going to bolt up to that horse.
You emerge from the alleyway and you can see Rafal
I'm not
mounted
looking
upon
to-
the steed.
I'm going to do a flip.
In front of Rafal or behind him?
Ooh, behind.
Or through him.
Ooh, I like through. No, behind.
All right.
And I'm going to yell, get us out of here.
Rafal's going to use his cloak and he's going to throw it over Kevin, so you can use your bonus action to stealth again.
Yeah, that's
The billowing cape. He billows it as you jump on top. Yes.
Okay. Come on, come on, come on.
You get advantage still.
Did it get another 28?
Another 28. That'll do.
You know,
Okay, 28.
28 is still really good.
Okay. Whew.
And then Rafal
We went through the hard
riding,
part.
right? You were holding until her?
Yeah, Rafal is going to use his movement to ride and his action to dash.
All right, so you guys start taking off down the street. In what direction are you guys heading? Northwards or trying to make your way roundabout southwards?
Roundabout southwards.
All right. As you guys start making your way around some of these buildings and circling, kind of taking a wide arc around the marketplace, Nari, as you are changing appearance
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say,
continuing forward,
instead of actually using an action to do the disguise self thing, I would actually just use a bonus action to change my cloak, because I don't think my face matters, but I can change my cloak, which basically would change my appearance, because that's what my magical cloak does that I bought. So it's just a bonus action to change the look of my cloak, since I don't think my face really matters, just my, outward garment area, kinda. So I would use a bonus action so that way I could still move and double move.
all right, so with a double movement, Nari, you hear the sound of those howls, and they seem to be growing louder. As it seems, some of these dogs may have caught your scent. And with a quick look over your shoulder, you can see a number of them start barreling around the next corner and sprinting directly towards you. It's clear that they aren't thrown off by this illusion that you're making use of, and you can see them at a full sprint.
Okay. So
As they are heading towards you, you can see them, their fangs just start dripping with this black substance that just evaporates as soon as it hits the stone beneath their feet. As they catch sight of you, two of them utter a deep growl and pounce forward and almost immediately vanish into smoke. As the other two just continue sprinting forward and gaining. And if you had not double moved, would have caught up with you, as they effectively close the distance, and they are now about 20 feet away from where you are presently. These two dogs of shadow and smoke. But that's their full movement to get the 20 feet away from you.
Climb, Nari, climb!
As the air around them seems to fill with that same shadow and smoke, as the other two just seem to finish their leap, reappearing 40 feet closer and land on the stonework near their allies. Still 20 feet away, but very much not restricted by just straight movement, it seems.
They can climb over walls, appear, and fly? Oh, God, they're much more fast than the other guys.
Nasty dogs.
Rafal. With that, we cut back to you.
Rafal keeps riding.
As you are continuing to ride, you catch sight of one of those Requisitors about 80 feet away, kind of starting to fly upwards over some of the nearby rooftops. It looks to just be scanning the air.
So when he catches sight of that, he's going to slow down and pretend like he's just a noble that's riding. Because he's far enough away from like the chaos, right?
Yeah, so he was 80 feet at the start of your turn. So with the horse's movement, that's another 60 feet, I believe. And so go ahead and roll me a deception check or a stealth check.
Let's see, which one's
to try and just go incognito.
They're exactly the same.
Oh.
11.
All right. Anything else you would like to do?
That is about it.
as you just adjust the cloak behind you and continue riding, slowing your pace a little bit. Agrimar, anything you want to do inside?
No, I figure I dirtied up her hair enough that it might, fool some people. I guess since we have time, I will give her some food if she's hungry.
All right. Agrimar starts going through his rations.
Yep. Some food, some water. Set up a nice little picnic in the dark.
Did you ever eat those?
Does she seem like hurt at all?
I mean, she took a little bit of damage from that fall, but because you caught her and because she's been in jail this whole time, like she looks a little malnourished, but physically all right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just give her some food. And counting down the minutes. So far we've been in there for like 30 seconds.
As those minutes continue to tick by, Rafal, you hear another distant fireball go off. Somewhere behind you. Not.
Okay, so you said those two dogs that were charging for me, did they like disappear in the smoke, or are they still all there?
It looked as though two of them just straight sprinted, full double movement to just come towards you. The other two seemed to vanish into smoke and then reappeared 40 feet closer to you.
They could walk through walls, disappear, and fly. They were much more unique than the other dogs.
They're very
So,
dogs.
is Mike not where
They had to stop.
I figure I'm gonna try it. So I'm gonna stop for a second and gust of wind them.
Oh my god.
As Nari produces the fan that was previously used by the Lady Annabelle. Go ahead and roll me, I think it's a D20 for the wind fan.
A 19?
I think on a 1 it disintegrates, right?
Let me click on
It's
it.
not on there, but I'm pretty sure that's how that item works.
It's a cumulative.
Yeah, each time you use it, it gets harder and harder to...
So Nari, if you'd like to describe what this looks like.
So she's running, like, I don't know if you said she's down an alleyway, but she's running and these dogs are charging for her. And as she's running, she pulls this fan out and she, like, takes a quick step back and, like, she, like, ushers this fan, like, a really cool, like, and this gust of wind bursts out from her as she turns on her heel to go again, hoping it knocks over some of the dogs or something. I don't know if it's when she
blast
runs.
of wind solidifies and arcs backwards behind Nari. One of them passes their save, the other does not. And for the second two. So two of them are pushed off their feet and look to fly backwards at the sheer force of this blast of wind that just rips the two of them off their feet. The other two, however, look to dip down close, keeping their center of gravity as low as they can, and just continue to start pacing forward despite this immense pressure you put upon them.
And I'm going to use my movement to keep going as fast as I can.
All right.
Oh God, this is gonna end bad. I'm glad they said goodbye to everyone.
It's a good thing Phelan's still in the city.
Yeah, she might make a guest appearance and stay forever.
Yes. Hello?
Riding on the back of Rafal's horse, tucked underneath his cloak. Anything you would like to do?
I don't have anything to heal me except like a healer's kit, but even then, That's not what I need. I am just going to continue to hang out there. I shouldn't peek out. Is there anything that I can hear around me?
Roll me a perception check. Kevin, taking a peek from behind Rafal's cloak, in the far distance, you can see one of those purple armored requisitors that looks to be engaged with something, as he's continuing to throw a number of spells downwards at whatever he's targeting. Just again and again, a bolt of flame and then another explosion of fire.
But he's not, the Requisitor isn't looking at us?
Not in your direction, no.
Okay. Yep, I'm going to end my turn there. Just trying to stay as quiet as possible.
All right. As the group of dogs nearest Nari, the two closest, is it the start of their turn or each? Starts. Makes a save. So those two that failed are pushed 15 feet back. As the two that start their turn in this.
I did move my movement. I haven't been moving my token though, so.
All right.
Sorry.
We can theater the mind this, no problem. So let's see. They were 20 feet, and you moved 30?
Yeah,
Yes,
30
yes.
feet. Yeah, 30,
All right.
sorry.
So they look to put their noses down and are doing their best to fight against this continuous burst of wind that is holding them back. And it's noticeably slowing them down somewhat, as they're only able to move about the remaining 20 feet forward. So they get to the end of this wind tunnel, to the point where you had cast it, and using the full movement to do so, as they look to vanish into smoke and then reappear right beside you, Nari.
That's good.
As the two in the back are continuing to struggle against that wind, but don't get nearly as close. As the back two are still about 30 feet away from you. As things happen. Rafal.
The Requisitor that he saw, is that the one that turned around and seemed to engage something?
That seems to be the one that is engaged with something.
Okay, then Rafals is going to keep riding for the south gate.
All right. Starting to pick up speed or staying at a slower pace?
He's going to do the just the move and the dash, so he's just going to double move.
All right. Agrimar.
You could just move past me. I'm not doing it.
All right. So with that, Nari.
Is it my turn again?
It is your turn.
Cool. Yeah, okay. So seeing that they're like right up on me now, I cast this on myself. Okay, well I wanted to ask before I cast it. I'm sorry. Would I know that they're like an aberration? Like, would I understand that kind of magic to understand what they are?
You can go ahead and roll me a nature or a religion check.
I'm gonna guess they're an aberration because I don't fucking know. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna cast that on me and hope it fucking works. Because, you know, they're there now. And that's my action. So, oh jeez. Oh man, this could be my end. Yeah, so I will try and run now that I have the cast and hope maybe they can't fuck me up too bad. I will still try and use my movement to run.
All right, so you continue sprinting from these dogs, and they're both going to take attacks of opportunity, but at disadvantage because of your protection from evil.
Fiendish dogs.
So the first is going to be a 15 to hit,
Not hit.
followed by a 20 total to hit.
Oh.
That will hit. Yeah.
That is going to do 4 points of piercing damage as one of these dogs snaps onto your leg and just grazes you as you start to flee.
Well, there goes my protection spell. Dang it. Ah! Okay.
And you move 30 feet from them? Yeah. All right. And for the sake of brevity, assuming that Rafal is continuing to circle around towards the southernmost gate, Nari, the hounds that are near you are the ones that just took that opportunity attack at you are continuing this dead sprint towards you. And they quickly close that 30-foot gap and again leap forward towards you. And still at disadvantage is going to be a 14.
But no, because when that one bit me, I lost my protection from evil and good because it's concentration and I rolled a 7.
Okay, so then it is going to be a 14 and a 17 to hit.
17 is my AC.
17 is your AC. Another 4 points of piercing damage. As the other one bites onto you this time. As the two back in the wind wall. Oh,
why are they after Nari?
You hear some yelps and yowls as the two in the back are just once again ripped off of their feet and are flung back.
Would that, I'm like totally happy with it being there, but the wind wall says it was concentration too. I don't know if the fan had it differently or not, but the spell is concentration, so would I lose that when I cast
concentration check? Yeah.
12?
You managed to maintain concentration.
Okay, because I cast the evil and good, which was concentration, so I still wanted to make sure, because it was an item thing. I didn't know if the fan was a concentration.
I believe it would cancel out, yes.
Okay, that was totally okay with him, but I'm like making sure I do it right, so I assume, because I didn't even think the fan would stay up if I ran away from it, so. Yeah, here we are.
All right. So those two in the back did not get ripped off their feet then.
I mean, if you want them to, it's cool, I'm okay with it.
Being 60 feet away from you, you watch as they just go for this dead sprint, continuing the 40 feet forward, and then they leap into the air, but don't look to vanish into smoke this time. Just continuing forward. 40 feet closer, puts them 20 feet away from you, as you are still engaged with these closest two, and the other guys are 20 feet away. What would you like to do?
Okay, so this time I'm going to beat one with my stick. A 15 to hit.
A 15 is going to hit.
And I don't get that sneak attack because I don't have anyone close by, unfortunately.
Which one are you going to hit?
Damn it, I should have texted them first. That's my bad. The one on the left.
All right.
And because it is my my warlock weapon, I can hit them twice, so I'll hit him again with it. 7's not going to
hit, however. The second plunge, and it just rips right through where this thing should be, but it's as if your spear is just passing through smoke. It doesn't make impact upon anything. It just vanishes right through this thing's chest. Anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah, so this time I'm going to cast a Hexblade Curse on them. On the one on the left, because I forgot to do it first, so it's fine. But yeah, for next.
Sure. As you Hexblade Curse, the one on the left, staying where you're at.
Yeah, I don't want to risk it. Because they'll catch up to me even if I move 30 feet, right? Those other guys? Because they can
If you move
that far.
30 feet and they don't double move, they'll be 10 away from you.
I'll go 30 feet one more time and then I'm just going to suck it up.
So effectively, you're provoking 2 opportunity attacks to avoid 2 extra attacks.
But then I won't be surrounded as much as long. So that's 2 this time to avoid advantage on their next turn. So
that's going to be a 6 and a 9 to hit. As you step away. As the closest dogs once again let's see here. The closest dogs this time look to vanish in that plume of smoke. And for the briefest moments, there's this happiness, and you see that they're just gone. And then you hear their growls, but you don't see them. And it's very off-putting. As you turn back around ready to sprint, and they are already there in front of you, 10 feet down the way. As these dogs are now 10 feet in the direction you were headed, and back the other way down this alley are the other dogs who start closing in, and they get 20 feet away from you. And with that, what would you like to do? So now it looks kind of like that, you in the middle.
Is my turn again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Action, I'm going to cast Armor of Agathis. So that gives me 15 temporary hit points, and if they hit me, they take some damage. I'm trying here, guys, okay?
You're doing great.
That's working so far.
And then I'm going to step towards the one that I have the curse on, which is, he's like 10 feet away or whatever.
Dog safe.
Oh, well, actually, that's an action, so I don't have a bonus action to beat him with my stick. So, yeah, I'm gonna hold my ground right here. So you said some of them are, because they can move 40 feet, though, right? I believe.
They can move 40 feet.
So either way, they're gonna fuck me up. So, yeah, I'm gonna hold my ground right here, ready to fucking die. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be glorious. I'm gonna take them down.
As these dogs close in, and all 4 make attacks on Nari. With a 14, a 7, a 11, and an 18 to hit.
18 will hit. This isn't even a melee attack, is it? Because it's their teeth?
It is a melee attack.
Oh, good. So if they hit me, it takes 15 cold damage.
So you take 6 points of damage, as this one takes 15 points of cold damage. So take that from your temporary hit points, the Armor of Agathis.
Oh, yeah. That was 6, right?
Yes, 6 damage off those temporary hit points, as it takes 15 points of cold damage. And you can hear it just kind of back off as it lets loose this whine. It starts backing up, provoking an attack of opportunity if you would like to take it.
Oh, definitely. 12.
And Wing just misses as it steps away from you, and a look of almost panic across its face as it took all of this damage seemingly from nowhere in an instant.
It's about to get cold out here, puppy dogs. This cat is not wanting to play today.
Nari, what would you like to do?
Okay, so I step towards, is there one right next to me still or no?
3 of them are right next to you.
So the one that I have the hex on, if he's next to me, I want to hit him.
Swing away.
An 11?
An 11 is not going to hit.
It's my weapon, so I hit him twice. An 18?
18 will hit.
And so I get plus proficiency bonus to damage rolls, which is what, plus 3? Right. I believe.
Is your charisma 3?
Yes. Okay. So that's 11 piercing damage.
Alright, as your spear plunges into this one, as your Hexblade's curse seemingly prevents it from returning into that smoky state for just this split second. That same split second that you strike forward, and it pierces into what should be this thing's heart, as it just stops in place for a moment, and then the entire dog just kind of blows away in this cloud of smoke as it vanishes from sight.
Does he die?
And you regain hit points equal to your warlock level, plus your
plus my charisma. Yeah. Woohoo! Okay, yeah. So that's plus 8.
Anything else you would like to do?
Could Bale have been in
that's
the
all I
area
can
shooting
do.
these dogs?
He
Could have been, but for reasons unknown to you, he was not.
Okay, I have nothing else to do, so I'm going to commentate.
What was that, Amanda?
Oh, I said Bale probably bailed.
Alright, so Nari, as you finish your turn, the two dogs that are left surrounding you are now taking their bite attacks with advantage. For a 19 on the one and a 15 on the other.
A 19 will hit, which he automatically takes 15 cold damage for hitting.
As you take another 5, and he takes 15 points of cold damage, making another one of them look relatively rough, pretty rough.
Rough.
Not in the dog pun. But he looks to stand his ground as his grip almost seems to tighten around you as the cold surges out of your person and through this dog as he clamps down on your arm. As the guy in the back leaps back into the fray with a 20 total to hit. For 3 more piercing damage.
I take 3. Wait, what?
You take another 3 points of piercing damage as the one that backed up after the last attack jumps forward again and rolled a total of 20 to hit.
So he takes 15 automatically then.
If you'd like to describe how you kill this second one.
He bites onto me, and like all of a sudden, like starting at the mouth where he bites me, you can just see like a little frost kind of go over his smoky form as it solidifies and then just shatters into snowflakes.
And it is just disgusting what happens there as Rafal with Agrimar in the bag and Kevin on his back continues circling around. You have line of sight to the southernmost gates, and you can see a number of city guards at their posts, not necessarily paying attention to you or on alert, but there looks to be about 6 guards here present in front of that gate, as well as the daily commuters, if you will, starting to line up to make their way into or out of the city. As you are approaching that southernmost gate, Agrimar, as you're approaching that southernmost gate with everyone else, Rafal, you catch sight of a creature swooping down across this roadway where you are at, and it has rainbow scales across its exterior, very serpentine in appearance, save for the feathered wings that it has. As it opens up its jaws and just lets out this perfectly worded sentence spoken in common. Release the girl, and you may walk free. And that's where we're going to pick up next time.
Oh, man.
Well, so much for that whole heist.
Why are the dogs after Nari?
I did technically shoot her rope and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's
It
true.
was a
Never
setup.
mind.
And for what it's worth, your plan is to make you guys avoid combat with
18 dogs.
a lot of dogs.
But it doesn't matter. We didn't get away, so.
We're not done yet.
Well, we're still going to get implicated in the crime, so it doesn't matter.
Shoot.
I don't know. I'm pretty proud of how I'm kicking these dogs' ass right now.
Did any of the
I just got confronted by a flying Quetzalcoatl like in the street that's speaking perfect, like that's an intelligent creature. Like we got implemented. We got made. We didn't get away at all.
It wasn't looking at you, I will say that.
Wait, who
What?
was it talking to?
Out loud, seemingly to everyone present.
Oh, we might have gotten away with it.
Oh, I totally took that completely wrong.
Yeah,
As
not
that
like it swooped down
in the
looking
street
at
in
you.
front of my riding horse and like looked right at me and like.
Yeah, I took it that way too.
I did. I thought
No,
it was
no,
just
no, no,
swooping
no.
down.
It swooped down by this gate and effectively called this out to everyone present.
So they must.
Okay, that changes it. So it's not looking like right at me.
So they.
Right.
So does the bird know it's us, or or we're going to have to wait too?
I think this is like a PA system, and they're using the little dragon thing to announce it around the city.
Oh God.
But now you do have to worry about trying to get out of the gate without them checking your luggage. But I mean, you guys are in a black hole, so hopefully that's
Yeah, hopefully they don't take too long checking us because we only have 42 rounds left to live.
I only have 9 HP. Oh, that's the second closest she's come to. Third closest.
I'm completely full because of that the Hexblade curse. I'm like, I'm back to full HP and I still have one temporary hit point. So I'm like, that was really good right now.
So you still have that armor of Agathis on you then.
Yes, I
So
do.
15 damage to the first person to hit you for that one temporary hit point.
Does it only last for that 15 hit points?
Yeah, it lasts for an hour or for those 15 hit points, whichever's up first.
Yeah, I was reading it,